Aquí vamos. Muy buena gente, ¿cómo están hoy? Sean bienvenidos hoy al penúltimo evento de cobertura de la Capcom Pro Tour 2023 rumbo a la Capcom Cup, que va a ser el 21 de febrero de este año, obviamente. Hoy estamos ahora con la penúltima CPT que nos queda, que es el CPT US Canada East, o mejor conocida como la región más difícil de los Estados Unidos y Canadá, ya que el primer ganador de la primera región de Estados Unidos, que fue West, fue Snake Eyes con el Zangief. Ahora vamos a ver el de la segunda región de Estados Unidos, que es la región este, que es donde están obviamente los jugadores más fuertes de Estados Unidos. En total se registraron 642, haciendo que esta fuera la tercera CPT con mayor número de gente registrada. La primera fue el Evo, obviamente. El segundo es Japón, que tuvo 925. Y ahora es esta, que tiene 642 registrados. Y llegamos ahora a los últimos 16, que acá vamos a verlo ahora mismo. Que acá van a llevarse un upset increíble de lo que ha pasado. Van a ver aquí mismo. Y aquí está el resultado. En el lado de Winners tenemos a Nuckledu contra Ramos. Es de esperarse de Nuckledu que esté en Winners. Luego SpaceBoy contra BananaKen. También es algo esperable, pues, especialmente por BananaKen. Luego Psycho contra Naji. Que esto viene de algo bastante inesperado. Psycho fue el que envió a Punk a Losers 2-0. Así es, Psycho fue el que envió a Punk a Losers. Y Punk ahora tendrá que hacerse una remada terrible por Loser para poder llevarse la victoria. Pero desgraciadamente tienen su camino a Idom, que también cayó, que fue enviado a Losers por Paladin, Paladin Ryu. Que justamente Paladin está en Winners y va a enfrentarse a Alex Smith. De los jugadores en Winners, que de los que conocemos que son veteranos, son Nuckledu, Spaceboy y nadie más, porque Paladin, Alex Smith, Naji, Psycho y BananaKen y Ramos creo que no aparecieron el año pasado en el CPT de Street Fighter V, el último. Luego por luces tenemos a Adrian Ni versus Flotswaves, Kami versus Semish, Punk versus Maxama y Mando versus Idom. Acá de los esperados, dos de los jugadores más fuertes de la era de Street Fighter V, que eran Punk y Idom. Idom fue enviado a Losers por Paladin, Punk fue enviado a Losers por Psycho. De jugadores veteranos del año pasado de Street Fighter V, el último año, estarían Fluxwaves, Kami, Semish, Punk y Idom. Los nuevos son Mando, Maxama y Adrian Ni, que no salieron el año pasado, en el último año de Street Fighter V. O sea, de los upsets que hay acá son obviamente Punk y Idom, que fueron enviados a Losers por Psycho y Paladin. Por lo que acá, desgraciadamente, si Punk y Idom ganan sus matches acá, tendrán que pelear el uno al otro mañana en el top 8 Loser Side. O sea, gane quien gane, esto va a ser un upset terrible. Va a joder bastante a uno y el otro que pierda se tendrá que jugar el pellejo en el Last Chance Qualifier, que va a ser el 17 de febrero. Así que aquí está el top 16. Acá uno de los favoritos que se lo puede llevar es Nuckledu. O sea, Nuckledu es el favorito que se puede llevar el CPT, la clasificación. Y Punk, según creo que había avisado en Twitter, que si no gana el CPT de su región, no va a entrar en el Last Chance Qualifier. Por lo que obviamente él se perdería este año de la CPT. Si no gana ahora esta CPT. Pero el tema es que tiene que lidiar con Nuckledu y con Idom aquí. O también con otros más como BananaKen o SpaceBoy. O Naji. Incluso aunque Punk sea bueno, nunca se sabe lo que puede pasar acá. Alguno de estos jugadores puede ser sorprender y le podría joder todos los planes al Punk. Con lo volátil que es el Street Fighter 6, donde si cometes un mal error, básicamente perdés el set. O sea que el Punk tendrá que tener mucho cuidado ahora acá en Losers. Porque si pasa top 8, tendrá que pelearse con Idom. Y eso le podría costar todo. Porque si el Idom elimina al Punk en el top 8, eso, ya me imagino el tweet del Punk que haría sobre su eliminación de la Capcom Cup. Pero bueno, así ha quedado el resultado del top 16 del CPT US Canada East. Siguiente semana es el último CPT online que voy a cubrir, que es el CPT de US Canada Midwest, que por lo que me han dicho, en esa región está el Zen, jugador de China que ahora está estudiando en Canadá, que ya ha aprobado. Y va a participar obviamente en el CPT de esa región, pero es justamente la región donde está el Brian F., Josta Kid, Du Kevin, Saif, Saik, Riddles. O sea, bastantes jugadores fuertes de Canadá y obviamente los de USA. Es la región donde está el Brian F. y el Rob TV. Pero Rob TV creo que se había retirado de los fighting y ahora y ahora solo iba a comentar. Pero Brian F sigue siendo un jugador competitivo. El peor upset que puede pasar para el siguiente CPT es que Brian F no llegue al top 16 o sea eliminado en pools. Pero bueno, con esto hecho, nos vamos a la verdadera acción. Vamos ahora a la espera de que empiece la transmisión del CPT US Canada East. Aunque diga US East, en realidad es US Canada East. Así que empezamos. Que falta poquito para empezar. Ujú. Ahí está. Que ya empieza. Van a hacer obviamente el resumen, lo más probable va a ser el del CPT Japan y mañana van a hacer el resumen del World Warrior de UK Ireland, que por las dudas aviso, el ganador del CPT más difícil del mundo, o sea, Japón, fue Kawano, el Evo 2022 Champion, que ganó el último Evo de Estados Unidos de Street Fighter V. Y luego, en el último World Warrior que quedaba, UK Ireland, se lo llevó Ending Walker con el Ryu. Así es, tenemos un Ryu en el Capcom Cup. Bueno, empezar ahora en 11 minutos. Así que estar listos que esto se viene lo bueno. Que lo estoy viendo obviamente, como hago siempre, en Multistream. Tanto en YouTube como en Twitch. O sea, los que me ven en YouTube veré sus mensajes en Twitch y los que me ven en Twitch veré sus mensajes en YouTube. Así que esto se va a poner bueno. En el tiempo que se está transmitiendo este CPT, también está ocurriendo la última Tekken World Tour de Tekken 7, ya que ahora dentro de 2 semanas sale el Tekken 8. Ahora por ahora están haciendo la fase de grupos, ya terminaron la fase de grupos A, ahora está la fase de grupos B. Así es, está ahora mismo la fase de grupos B. Cuando termine va a empezar posiblemente el grupo más difícil de los que se han seleccionado en la última Tekken World Tour. El grupo C, donde está el Tekken World Tour Champion del año pasado, que es Atif Bat de Pakistán. El grupo B que está jugándose ahora mismo en Tekken 7 es el grupo donde está el Arslan Ash, el 4 veces Evo Champion, 2 veces Evo Estados Unidos Champion y 2 Evo Japan Champion. Buah, ¿cómo va esto? Está. Siempre empieza ahora 6 y 20, 10 minutos antes de hacer el resumen, como todos los CPTs. Bueno, estos dos últimos CPTs sí podré transmitirlos sin problema. Así es, estos dos últimos CPTs que vienen ahora, este de acá y el que sigue, los podré transmitir porque son en horarios que sí puedo transmitirlos. Que son 2 horas antes. No, 3 horas antes en mi horario. Acá comienza ahora a 6:30, pero ya sería a las 9, a las 4:30. 4 o 3:30. Entre Estados Unidos y Uruguay. Son unas 3 horas de diferencia. Nosotros tenemos 3 horas de diferencia que ellos. Ok, 5 minutos para que empiece el preinicio. ya empieza en breve. Tras esto, el que salga ganador de este, va a ser un baño de sangre en el LCQ. El Last Chance Qualifier de Street Fighter, el primer LCQ de Street Fighter 6 va a ser un baño de sangre. Y especialmente van a venir los mejores players de Japón que no pudieron clasificarse. Uf, la cantidad de sangre que se va a derramar ahí. Uf. Va a ser una calamidad. Hmm. Lo único chungo para algunos va a ser el tema de que el evento de la Capcom Cup va a ser una semana entera. Así que algunos posiblemente no van a ir a las Chance Qualifier porque básicamente una vez que vas allá y si salís ganador tenés que quedarte una semana entera. Así es, quedarte una semana entera. Uf, quedarse una semana entera allá, uf. Especialmente en Estados Unidos. Por algo ya sé lo más probable que casi nadie de Sudamérica va a ir a Last Chance Qualifier, obviamente por culpa de la visa. O sea, la visa es uno de los mayores problemas que tiene obviamente los jugadores de Sudamérica. Al no tener visa.
Sí, el pollo que quedó en la heladera, ¿viste?
¿Mm?
Lo vamos a comer entre los dos, ¿sabes? Después te lo comas.
Lo siento por eso. Asuntos familiares. Es algo común que tengo últimamente. Sepan disculpar las molestias causadas. Si escuchan voces adicionales. ¿Cómo está? Hasta que empiece. Ok, ya empieza. Van a hacer una puesta a punto de 10 minutos, obviamente un tema seleccionado de Street Fighter 6 y luego resumen de un CP, posiblemente de un CPT o un World Warrior, lo más probable es CPT. Posiblemente Grand Finals y Loser Finals del CPT Japan. Mm, Acá está. El tema del Rashid. Aunque extraño su otro tema clásico. Su tema de Street Fighter V. Para los que están llegando, estamos haciendo un co-stream, bueno, un multi-stream, obviamente como hice en los demás streams, del penúltimo Capcom Cup Online que quedaría. Dependiendo de lo que pase ahora en 2024, si van a regresar al formato offline o van a mantener alguna parte online, por ejemplo, los World Warrior. Y haciendo que todos los World Warrior todas las finales de World Warrior sean offline y no online. Pero en fin, aviso del top 16 que hay hoy de la segunda región de Estados Unidos, US, Canada, East. Que dos de los favoritos que hay, que son Punk y Idom, están en Loser Side. Así es. Punk y Idom están en Losers. Psycho envió a Punk a Losers 2-0 y Paladin envió a Idom a Losers 2-1. Y Paladin es un Ryu player, por las dudas. Posiblemente el mejor Ryu de Estados Unidos. Obviamente de los 3 Ryus que hay del mundo, Paladin es el mejor Ryu de Estados Unidos. Le sigue Ending Walker, el mejor Ryu, bueno, uno de los mejores Ryus de Europa, junto con Semi 28 de Europa. Y desde Asia tenemos a Darling de China, Sekingan Ryu de Japón. Y... ¿quién más? Creo que ellos dos primordialmente. Darling de China y Sekigan Ryu de Japón. Los dos mejores Ryus de Asia. De Europa obviamente son Ending Walker y Semi. Y de USA es solo Paladin, el único que usa Ryu. Mientras el resto son carreados por el Ken, el JP y el Luke y el DJ. Bueno, DJ no tanto, pero primeramente más el Luke y el JP. Y el Ken. Sí. Si ustedes ven que no hablo mucho, o es que estoy en el chat de Capcom Fighters, o estoy concentrado con la música, o tratar de seguir al mismo nivel que están haciendo el resumen. Lo siento por eso. El tema de Dalsim. Ok, resumen se viene. CPT Japan Losers y Grand Finals. El segundo CPT con mayor número de jugadores registrados. Este es el tema del Jamie. Con 925 players registrados. Y que se decidió en un look mirror entre Kawano, Evo 2022 Champion de Street Fighter V, y Otani. Sí. Uff, el look mirror. Kawano contra Otani. Ya. Sí. Uff. Sí, esto es Grand Final, sí. A ver aquí. Pero no. No. Perfect. Perfect. Password. Lo agarró. Perfect. Light blast. Give me a break. Pa. YOLO. Pauno 2. Fighto. Pa, el CPT más difícil para ser consistente. Baseball, baby! YOLO, le pagó con la misma moneda. Kawano derrotó a Otani con EX Rising Up y Otani le devolvió el favor haciendo lo mismo. Wake Up EX o OD Rising Up. Mm. Mm. Time to work. Slow, pa, 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 come back. Memphis. Hostia, qué beiteo le hizo al DP ahí a Otani. Hay un uppercut. Hay que aprovechar el burnout. Y lo mata Kawano. Muerto. Esto fue obviamente, top 8 siempre es FT3 o Best of 5. Kawano venía de Winners, mientras que Otani venía de Losers. Ya que el mismo Kawano fue el que envió a Otani a Losers. O sea, Kawano se cargó al Otani y también se cargó al Akira. O sea, ambos jugadores pelearon contra Kawano y Kawano los derrotó a ambos. Y Kawano tuvo la suerte de que Kazunoko eliminara a Tokido. Porque posiblemente Tokido, de todos los que estaban en ese top 8, hubiera sido el más problemático que le hubiera dado problemas a Kawano. Y tuvo suerte de que Kazunoko le eliminara a Tokido. Porque después de todos los demás players, creo que ni siquiera ni Kazunoko podría darle problemas a Kawano. De los que sí le darían problemas a Kawano hubieran sido obviamente Tokido, ¿quién más? John Takeuchi, Kakeru, ¿quién más? El Daigo inclusive, el Magu. Todos ellos le hubieran dado muchos problemas a Kawano. Él tuvo la suerte de que todos ellos fueron eliminados antes. El único en ser más eliminados que le daba mayor problema era Tokido, que perdió contra Kazunoko 3-1 en Losers, en Losers Top 8 Round 2, llevándose el quinto puesto. Kazunoko después perdió 3-0 contra Akira en el Kami Mirror de Losers Semifinals. Y Akira sufrió la terrible read que le hizo Tani justo en el final set del último game, ganándole 3-2. O sea, le leyó la crouching medium kick y se la castigó con el level 2. Con el SpaceBoy, baby. O sea, supo que iba a pasar eso. Mm. Hmm. What's wrong? Time Blast. No, el Pixel. Time Blast. Qué buen castigo de Otani. Esa fue Forward Medium Punch. Y ahí está el último CPT que se va a venir después. Bueno, último CPT online que va a venir después de este.
cage and check the bar. I don't care about the life bar. I just want to do that. Right, yeah. Guano, man, he had the right intentions, right, with the level 2. It just wasn't in enough damage. Yeah. Exactly. Just shy. And that allowed Otani to find that victory right over there. So I still can't believe he got the counter hit sandblast. Dude, like I said, I mean, I
Cambio de escenario.
Guile does that because he recovers off of the sonic boom so fast, but I did not know that Luke could recover so fast where the sandblast just causes that long enough of a hit. Oh, there we go. There we go. Let's go, Guano. That's the up button. Yeah, I love it. I don't know why that feature amuses me so much. It's great.
Perfect. Fast ball.
Start here. Again, the finals was 3-2. So close between these two players. And Otani
Perfect. Bueno, traigo PK.
checks the forward dash.
Esa que sí.
Throw in the corner, go for another one. He does. Gets him to the meter. Excellent start so far from Otani. He's going to be taking a little bit of a break, not. Okay, I was going to say. Too far. Not going to be overzealous with the drive rush. Not too bad of an option either way. Could be enough if it's a counter hit. Actually, maybe normal hit, perhaps. That's why Guano is so meticulous about his spacing, going back and forth, trying to tease that here. That's enough. Yeah.
Los low.
The drive rush cancel in the light, and so I'm not sure if Guano was trying to interrupt in the middle or something like that. Didn't work out. He just got clipped. Otani now with the potential to take a lead in this first set. Excellent backdash too, especially after the plus frame scenario that Guano presented. Wow, interesting. Was he trying to catch a sandblast, perhaps? Back throw. I'm also very surprised how little both have been punished for their own sandblast with that corpse carry.
Okay.
Again, sandblast is one of its most powerful things that it's such a subtle movement. The startup of it, there's no noise. Oh boy.
Perfect. No. Lo mató. No, el pixel. No había nada que hacer, era jaque mate ahí.
Circumstances, by the way, right? Yeah. He had the big input error against Guano, or sorry, from Guano to get the punished, and even after that, got the burnout still. Was like, you know what? All right, cool. Come on, gotta finish it now. Yeah, he just threw out the standing medium kick because I think Guano knew if he had blocked like a buffalo button, it would die. So he was probably hitting buttons at that point. So good choice by Otani to use the medium kick with his range. Give me the reset. Let me see that happen. Just make Guano sweat a little bit here.
No funcionó, amigo. Perfect. Let's go. Perfect. Let's go. No. Lo matan. Y sin gastar barra. Bueno.
Standard scale. It feels so good to hear. I'm sure it does. I've only been on the receiving end of it, so I wouldn't be able to say.
Bueno.
We welcome you with open arms. Throw it caught. Maybe a low medium kick, I think. Oh no! Yeah, now Otani gifting an execution error to Guano. Punish counter as well. Perhaps a flash.
Level 3. Memphis.
You would think maybe anticipate that. Otani went for the jump for that exactly. 2-2. This is tournament game for Guano to make it into cap round 5.
antojado. Mm. Mm.
For Kawano so far. Back-to-back punish counter throws. That's 40% right there. Oh, Jesus. What a clean start. Tournament point now for Kawano off of a very big onslaught of a round from that barrage of throws, really. Yeah, but Otani, he was able to clutch it out against Akira after that almost reversed. Oh my God! That standing heavy punch just looked like it hurt so much. Yeah, not gonna let him get out for free, but he still does get out. That's the important thing. Oh, no, too far, but no punish. But doesn't matter, still gets the hit. And look at these meter situation right here. Both of them so low on drive gauge. Punish out of the landing. And he's gonna
Uf, qué buena.
He's gonna burn him out. He's gonna gain a bunch of meter back himself. This is such a terrible position for Otani now. Kawano on the verge. Trade again, yep. They're both gonna do it. Kawano could make it happen with a single sequence, a single button, and that perfect parry is gonna be everything for Kawano because look at the amount of drive gauge he has left. A single opening against Otani will get it for him. And he gets it! Ladies and gentlemen,
Kawano clasificado para la Capcom Cup. Para los que vieron el stream que hice, el restream que hice, que lo hice la semana pasada, y ahora viene Brian F y Rob TV. Y con Brian F.
Brian F. What's up with you, Brian? I am, I'm excited because this is the episode that I think both of us and the people watching have been waiting for this whole time because we are sandwiched between the two most legendary CPT events of this season. CPT Japan just included over 900 entrants in the most stacked region on the planet.
Japan.
There's no argument there. These are the most, the top level talent and just an endless number of them. But also coming up, we have CPT US East, which features multiple Capcom Cup champions, some of the most electrifying storylines, and the most, the biggest personalities in the scene as well. So this is a super exciting time to be a Street Fighter fan, and we're coming up at the end of the season. People are fighting for those last few remaining spots, and one of those spots went to a former champion at CPT Japan. But before we get into even naming who that is, I mean, just going back through the pools and looking at all the action before even the mainstream began, there was so many high-level matches, off-stream, on-stream, 900 plus players. There's body bags left and right. I mean, where do we even begin? Do we start with maybe Daigo the Beast?
We gotta start with, listen, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Was it Hibiki?
Hibiki the Beast. This is interesting because Hibiki the Beast, he kind of stole Daigo's whole shtick there a little bit.
Bro, how you gonna take the Beast and then you put Daigo in the losers round one? As soon as that happened, I went to Capcom Pro Tour, the website. I looked at the rules to try to see if there was any way that we could get him banned from the Pro Tour.
Yeah, stealing Daigo's swagger is officially banned from the CPT. Everybody knows this. But for people who don't know, Hibiki the Beast is I think objectively at this point, the #1 Lily player on the planet. He frequently jumps to the top of the MR online leaderboard with Lily just for fun, and also wins a lot of online regional tournaments in the Japanese and Asian region. He has tournament wins over players like Gachikun and NL, Capcom Cup qualified players. So he is of that caliber, doing it with Lily, a character you don't see represented at that level. And then Daigo had to run into that first round. That's a tough draw, man. Even if you're favored, that's a tough draw.
You fight back, and he did. He fought all the way back, made it in the top 16.
11
and then he ended up
straight
running up
rounds.
And he goes up against Mizuha, which is losers top 16, Daigo versus Mizuha. Mizuha ends up winning that 2-1. Bro, the amount of players, looking at the top 16, look at this bracket. Narikun and Kazunoko on winner's side. Itabashi didn't even make top 8, dude. Itabashi loses to Otani, then to Jachi on the loser side, getting smoked by the Kimberly. Even tried two different, tried to Marissa, tried to Zangief, and to no avail. But he doesn't make it. Daigo doesn't make top 16. Yamaguchi, Narikun, even Margo ends up losing to Jachi as well on loser side. This bracket is ridiculous.
If you
Bro,
go back also in that bracket, Dude, oh my god, don't even bring up Kakadu. I was stream monstering Kakadu's run, who he was broadcasting his own matches, so of course I'm fanboy and watching him. In winner's side, he's getting smoked by Mizuha, rocking Kami, which occasionally, you know, Kami has historically been a bad matchup for Kakadu. He got smoked by Kazunoko also in the World Warrior Regional Finals, round 1, like a 3-0. So it's never been a good look for Kakadu so far against super high level Kamis. And then he goes up against Mizuha. He's about to make the comeback in the last game, and I'm telling you, I'm watching the stream, and I'm popping off, and I'm saying this is why he's the GOAT and all that, and he gets him down to the final pixel. The combo doesn't kill. And then he walks up to Mizuha. Mizuha wakes up low forward in his grill and wins. And then the next set is Kakadu is trying to crack top 16. He goes up against Joshi. Joshi, you just mentioned, plays both Kimberly and JP. It literally comes down to the final interaction, the final hit. Kakadu sets up the OD portals on top of Kimberly on her wake up, and it's supposed to be a meaty spike checkmate. And for some reason, Kakadu kind of mistimed the setup, misspaced it. Joshi wakes up level 2 and teleports through the spikes and kills Kakadu when he had a checkmate situation that he kind of just fumbled a little bit. And it's like, man, this guy has had a
Your clip of that
heartbreaker
was
season.
mad funny on Twitter, bro.
Dude, I was popping off so hard
because he had just blocked so much stuff, and you was like, "That's why he's the GOAT." you commentator curse.
But too many body bags in the top 32, in pools, in top 16. All your favorite top Japanese players are in this, but of course it all comes down to the top 8. And I think the cast of characters was a little bit unexpected to a degree. Kazunoko might have been kind of low-key for the people who weren't paying attention to Street Fighter League, but Kazunoko's been doing extremely well in Street Fighter League in Japan. He's in winter sides of top 8. Otani, he's been consistent as well in this bracket. Akira, who has been for years the most offensive Kami in Japan, but now he's like bringing that to Street Fighter 6. And then Kawano is the big one. Kawano in top 8 winners. The best Street Fighter 5 player for a period of time during, you know, the pandemic era where he was kind of contained within Japan, so the world didn't get to see him shine until EVO 2022 when he won that. And then he won Street Fighter League Japan as well, and the Street Fighter League World Championship with his teams, but kind of ended Capcom Cup on kind of a sour note. He only got 9th place, losing to Vega Patch. Vega Patch upset him, right? And since then, his Street Fighter 6 results have not been to that caliber at all.
Kawano only got 10 points throughout the entirety of the World Warrior program. I said there's no way. He must not have competed. But he competed in these events, and Kawano didn't even make like over top 160 in most of these events, bro. Only one time he got like 13th place. That was his best result. So he got 10 points. And then now he goes and wins CPT Japan. There is a big luck factor involved. And that can sound crazy at first. You cannot control, in my opinion, when you peak. And right now, Kawano, he got it at that right time. And that's one of the things that's super tough when it comes to having these big one-off events. You got to come that day and be that guy.
Right. And the thing about Kawano is his previous peak, that was over like almost a 2-year period. So he started to peak in Japan in late 2020, right? He'd been competing in 2018 and prior, and you know he was a good player, but he wasn't among the best in the world yet. He was training with them, but he hadn't quite cracked that level. And then late 2020 and beyond, he was winning almost every event in Japan, qualified for the CPT online, and finally Evo presented that opportunity where he could play offline again. And he was maintaining that dominant position for almost 2 years straight. So it's shown that he's been able to achieve peak form and maintain it for quite some time. So Capcom Cup is coming up fast. Like, this might be the perfect time for him to achieve that and make it not just a one-off thing. He's shown the ability to maintain a level of play and to compete at the highest level over an extended period of time. So I feel like Kawano was the player that had fallen off pretty much everybody's radar, and now Kawano is definitely one of the strongest players going to the Capcom Cup, and I think a lot of players are going to be scared of Kawano coming up in this bracket. So keep a lookout. The Prince has returned.
All right, bruh. And now you know what we are here for today.
US, Canada, East.
But now we are in the US of A for US East. Brian, we've been looking forward to this event for so long, bro. So we got a lot to talk about.
Se viene mucha cosa.
King of the East. Because we want to see who we think is going to take this, lay out some storylines. I'm going to go ahead and put it all on the line first and foremost. Dang.
Punk.
We know already Mena RD qualified. And he has said that he has chosen to not play. He don't want
El honor.
his homies. He's not going to gatekeep. We know the big three that we looking at here, bro. Nuckledu Dang.
Nuckledu.
God.
Idom.
And I hope y'all ain't forgot about a Capcom Cup champion in Idom. So as far as if we gotta pick our favorites to win this, I think that I gotta go between, respectfully to Idom, we gotta go between Punk or Do right now based on form. Even though I don't sleep on Idom,
It's tough, man. It's tough.
I'm gonna say I think Punk the God does it. You know what? Because last time I came on this camera
That's
and
true.
talked about, me and Brian said, you know what? Sometimes Punk has issues in the clutch. He's probably the best player, but in the clutch sometimes he gets a
say?
little nervous. He went on there, he beat our ass, so he wasn't even in the tournament. He wins the tournament, he gets up with his family. I'm the definition of clutch. You remember that, Brian?
I absolutely remember that, but hey, man, you might be jinxing him now. I think, Punk is a little bit like yourself in this regard. I feel like just a hint, a seed of doubt, kind of the spark that ignites the flame within him.
You're right.
So I don't know. Maybe you saying he's the favorite is going to make him lackadaisical about it.
I got him
Some
taking
people
it.
need a little bit of a hater to rally against.
Yes.
Real or otherwise, sometimes just even imagining some sort of perceived adversary is what gives you that chip on your shoulder that motivates you and gets you in that mental space to go over the top. Punk is absolutely a favorite, but I gotta say, Nuckledu, man, he is the guy who's also taking sets off Punk regularly. And we look at the World Warrior Finals. I like the way you intro the players. Mena RD beats Nuckledu in the World Warrior Regional Finals to qualify for Capcom Cup. Last game, last round, last interaction, both of them about to go into burnout. One clutch jump in is what secured the position for Mena RD to pop that level 2, chip out Nuckledu, and checkmate him essentially, right? But that was one decision that allowed Mena RD to win over Nuckledu. And then Nuckledu gets second place, doesn't qualify. Punk's there in third, Idom's there in fourth. It's like, that is kind of the perceived order of things. But Punk, Nuckledu, they're favored for sure with momentum. Idom, you can't forget about him, of course, like you mentioned, he's there. He's taking sets over these players. But I feel like matchup-wise also, it's going to be tough for him with the characters that Punk and Nuckledu
Who
represent.
you picking, Brian?
Oh, I'm picking. If you're picking Punk, I'm picking Do. I mean, that's
Okay.
this is a
Okay.
given.
Okay.
But
Okay.
listen, there's one small little banana in the bracket you might have forgotten about. I gotta give a shout out to my goat BananaKen, another one of those players who just for fun hits number 1 on the online leaderboard. He is representing JP in the East. He is the guy I try to steal all my tech from, and he has set wins over all these players. Now, is he favored against them? I wouldn't say so. I think they have the winning record. Mena RD, Nuckledu, Punk, and Idom.
He
They have the
can
winning
win this tournament,
record.
bro.
But he has made upsets over all of them, I believe, multiple times. I mean, I can check the stats on that one. So on a good day, it could be him as well. I'm going to be stealing the tech he represents either way. But even then, there's other contenders in this bracket that we haven't mentioned at all, because this bracket has 642 entrants in it. That surprised me.
642 in the States?
642 in U.S., North America, East. So a lot of the players in this bracket are people you might have seen early on competing. I want to give a shout out to players like Samij, traditionally from different franchise of fighting games. He was doing really well. He was doing super good at CEO in the beginning of the season for Street Fighter 6. Super strong jury play, very solid fundamentals, right? Diphone is back in the mix. So there's a lot of players who have been really strong in the beginning and maybe weren't focused as heavily in the interim and are now back to, maybe cause some upsets, maybe go super far. So I feel like while we have the favorites, you cannot count out anyone in this bracket. Like, I would not be surprised if big upsets occurred.
SpaceBoy, Zaffarino, BananaKen. Like, there's so many killers in this bracket. It's
Naji.
to call, bruh. 3 Capcom Cup champions. 3. And only 2 are able to qualify. One of them is going to have to take that trip to the West Coast for LCQ. That long, that long, hard road. But we did see somebody do it before, almost. Of course, my man Jin was able to make that run. So, of course, one of these guys can do it, but you'd rather not be in that spot. Mena RD already got in there, but we still got 2 Cup champions left. Idom, and then, of course, Nuckledu. Bruh, this one is about to be insane. This is, I would say, the 2nd strongest region in the world right now. Of course, it depends on how you look at DR, but I'm counting Mena RD as East Coast.
Right, he's in
Not
the bracket.
overall,
we
but
have to count him for this
for
one.
CPT.
He's in the CPT East Coast region. So for
But
this
when
one,
we
it
judge
makes the bracket that much
overall
harder.
region, just to clarify for Dominican Republic, players watching, we do not look. We know Mena RD is DR. Y'all seen is probably maybe the strongest or up there, right? But yeah, as far as right now, as far as regions, as far as CPT regions, it's Japan, East Coast, bruh. So it's extremely tough to call. Right now, we are so close to Capcom Cup. We are about to see some of the
Ok,
greatest
se
players
viene
in the
publicidad de 3
world.
minutos
Absolute
antes de que
legends
empiece.
about to cook up and try to punch their ticket in the Capcom Cup. Who is it gonna be? Who is gonna write their names in the annals of history? We're about to find out. We have top 16 for NA East.
Ok. Ya empiezan unos minutitos. Monster Hunter.
Objection!
Edgeworld. Ok, 10 segundos para empezar.
He was obsessed, you see, with finding an appropriate vessel for this power.
Fight with all your heart!
We are supporting Capcom Cup 10 with a total prize pool of over $2 million.
It's showtime, baby! Guile takes it over Idom!
Alright, you ready?
You don't want to miss it! Let him go! Look at the damage! Look at the damage!
Now's not the time for jokes.
Your two-time Capcom Cup champion! It's Mena RD!
Empezamos CPT US Canada East. Let's do it.
You guys are in for a wild ride.
Con Vicious y
I hope you guys
Ultra
are ready. I hope you
David.
guys are ready. It's CPT time. That's right, the Capcom Pro Tour. We have
Let's
an
do
online
this.
qualifier for the US and Canada East. With me is Ultra David. My name is Vicious, and we've got a lot to talk to you about because we had over 600 players in this bracket.
Yeah, and as you know, this region is one of the most stacked in the world. Extremely strong players. We're talking about the whole eastern seaboard of the North American continent. That's a lot of regions with a lot of strong players with a lot of history who have done well in tournaments over many, many years across many different games. And we have ended up with top 16 with 16 of them, trying to see who from this region will make it into Capcom Cup.
Only one.
Only one
right?
of those.
Only one of them gets that shot with so many prolific names from a variety of different games that we were talking about earlier. It's going to be one for the books, and that is for sure. You guys want to get ready for this one because in the top 16, ooh, if you guys were only watching what was going down in multitudes of streams, everybody was streaming their runs. And also, if you were following along on StarGG, seeing the pathing of some of these players, it was kind of destructive. I'm not going to lie to you. When I saw the top 32 page, I'm like, oh my God.
I was here for when he saw the top 32 page. And
who's in loser side? Which we're going to get to in just a little bit.
Idom y
Before we
Pong
get to that,
están en
obviously, talk
losers.
about the region as a whole. I think the East Coast right now in the current state of affairs for Street Fighter 6 has been the more dominant region throughout the U.S.
I think that's fair to say. Yeah, I mean, when you think of the top, probably 3 to 4 players, certainly in the short list of in the top 5, they are 3 or 4 of them. It's in this region. And of course, from the World Warrior side, already Mena has made it through.
Sí,
So we're
Mena
talking
está
about players who are
clasificado.
in their last chance at this point, other than the actual last chance qualifier.
Solo uno de los
Is gonna
top
be
de
right before
Estados
Capcom
Unidos
Cup
este
in a
se
little
podrá
less than a month at this
clasificar.
point. So, yeah, this is really the one big chance remaining. At that point, as tough as this tournament's going to be, that is going to be even harder. So this is when you want to make it happen. Yeah, I mean, on our little sheet, on our little run of show, it says preview and talk about region as a whole. But you guys know the region. Like, we know the region that we're talking about. We are talking about, again, some of the players who have had the most success at EVOs, at Capcom Cups. We're talking about multiple Capcom Cup champions just in this bracket. We're talking about players who have made EVO Grand Finals multiple times. We're talking about players who have made top 16 at EVO up to 3 times, 4 times, some of these players. People who have won majors, not just in Street Fighter, but in other games too. I mean, again, it's hard to beat this region when it comes to worldwide talent.
No doubt. Let's take a look at those players right now.
Aquí vamos.
Really familiar with our top 16. From the winner's side, Nuckledu versus Ramos. Now, Nuckledu, we know him. We love
that
him.
guy I know.
Capcom Cup champ. Long-time competitor.
Nuckledu versus Ramos, SpaceBoy versus BananaKen, Psycho contra Naji, Alex Smith contra Paladin.
I haven't really seen what his history is.
Paladin
like
que
on
usa
the
Ryu
stage,
por las dudas,
but
el mejor
one
Ryu de
thing is for
Estados
sure, he's
Unidos.
made it here for a very, very good reason.
Yeah, totally. All the players who have qualified have done so for a reason, no doubt. Then SpaceBoy and BananaKen, a couple of players who we've seen many, many times. Psycho and Naji, again, players who we're very familiar with. But
This is also really sick, by the way.
how about
towards the
that?
end of it. Alex Smith versus Paladin.
Yes.
Dude, the age difference between these two, when we get to it, man, it's going to blow your mind. But that is our winner's side for the top 16. Let's flip it over to the loser's side, shall we?
Oof.
And of course, we have Adrian NY, who's been on a ton of streams, grinding it out since the game release, along with Flux Waves of a similar caliber, right? Both of these players very, very talented, going up against each other. In round 1, a losers is kind of nuts. Then followed by Kami versus Samid. That is actually going to be a banger. But
What's
look
this?
what we have
What's
on the
this?
bottom.
Pong
bottom
versus
4.
Max
what are we
Saman.
looking at down here? Hold on. Are we right? The top of the screen here, it says top 16 losers. Is that what we're looking at? Yes. Punk versus Max Sama. And then NY
Mando versus Idom.
Yes. Punk and Idom have both lost before the top 16 began. And as a result, their paths are going to, of necessity, run into each other. We know. I can tell you, I don't know who's going to win tomorrow and qualify for Capcom Cup. I'm going to tell you right now, it will at least only be one of Punk or Idom. I guess we knew that already. But only one of them's even going to make it into, the losers round 2 of tomorrow. So,
so
we are going to see some great fireworks down there. Of course, Max Sama and NY Mando, we're going to try to put an end to that right away. So that is how it looks. We're talking about a bunch of different characters. Of course, we're talking about, just to think about it, Guile, Chun, Luke, JP, Kimberly, Juri, Ryu. We have Marissa down there with Zangief. We have Manon down there as well. So as commonly happens, sure, you got your classic top tiers, but as always also happens, especially when it comes to top 16s for CPT, you always get the characters in there a little zany, a little bit less represented. Glad to see that as well.
That's going to be pretty surprising. Also seeing a little bit of Ryu sprinkled in there from Paladin. He's been putting a lot of content, but we'll get into that in a little bit. There's a lot.
Okay, viene el primer match.
Run through these Capcom Pro Tour online qualifiers. There's $5,000 to be exact. It's a good amount of money to plan it out, but this is what they're all gearing towards, right? The $2 million prize pool over at Capcom Cup 10 for this season, with first place taking the lion's share multiple lives changing money, $1 million to first place. But again, we talked about that pricing every single time. $5K is on the line. It's enough, I feel like, to maybe, plan a little trip to the last chance qualifier, perhaps.
Sure.
A little fraction of that, maybe, if you're in fourth or third place,
$1,200
right?
Yeah, why not?
Still pretty
$800
good. I don't know what the flight prices are right now.
I mean,
but
fair enough.
hey, $2,500 is a pretty big deal, along with $1,200 for second place, $800 for third, and $500 in the pockets of fourth. Not bad for playing at the comfort of your own home or wherever you.
Ok, viene el primer match ahora. Ramos contra Nuckledu Gang.
Looking forward to seeing who gets that
Que ya
first
sé que
place.
Nuckledu
Of
va a
course, if
usar
you do,
Guile o Kami.
show up later.
No sé qué va a usar Ramos.
You're in the group stage, buddy. You already moved on. And
That feels
one
good.
person is going to get that. Yeah, one person's going to have a great weekend. Everybody else is going to have hopefully a good time. Maybe
Bro,
not quite what they were hoping for.
I swear, man, it's going to be like one blink and we're already teleported to the LCQ. It's going to be insane. It's actually going to be insane. We still have another CPT after this as well.
Yeah, we do.
right?
Yeah,
That's-
there's still one
oh my
remaining.
God, it's the
Yeah, yeah.
Midwest. Ooh, the main event. I love how it's coming back to the
Cool.
Midwest now. I love that. But talking about our top 16, starting things off, Nuckledu versus Ramos. We talked about some of the representation. Chun-Li, I feel like, has been
Oh,
coming up
Chun-Li Moderna.
real fast. And I feel like she's on an upswing, I would say.
Uf, Modern Chun-Li, 34 contra 27 años.
Next to her name, Modern Chun-Li. You don't have to worry about those
Uf.
kicks not coming out in
Bueno,
time
acá
to
sí
stop
voy a tener que
the
poner control moderno
stop
después en la
everything.
descripción, ¿no?
Nuckledu, tried and true classic with the Guile. Something to be expected.
Enters every online tournament. You guys know Capcom Cup champion in the previous game. He got second place in the World Warrior.
Du
for this week. He
versus
was first in
Ramos.
points before that. And his fact about himself is,
Classic Guile versus Modern Chun-Li.
all right, I'll read this.
Keep it
Somehow I'll
composed,
make it
baby.
through. Okay.
got it.
He says, I am a veteran, retro fighting game player, fighting for the old heads. Ancient Nuckledu at the age of 27.
27.
He's been playing, here's a true story. First time I met Nuckledu was, as far as I know, the first time that he ever traveled anywhere. It was at Civil War in Virginia in maybe like 2012. And he flew there and didn't have a hotel room. And I let him stay in my hotel room.
No way.
It was the first time that I met him, yeah. I think he did well at that tournament, too. So he's been great for a very long time. As far as Ramos goes, he got 30th in World Warrior points, but he hasn't entered that many events on Start GG anyway that I could research for. He did get 4th at a can opener. Like, he's definitely had some success out there. But he also says, I was in the first Capcom Cup for Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
That's insane.
Which is sick. That's a cool callback.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, if you see the list of players that he's taken down with him alongside his ancient history, because, man, I do not remember any of that cross second towards that Capcom Cup. I think it was the first time they've ever showcased it, and that was the last time.
Yeah, I think
I don't
you're right.
recall. But either way, Ramos, he took down Simple Tricks 2-1. He took down Zaffarino 2-0. And then Fatality Falcon 2-0 as well. That is a pretty hefty amount of names.
Yep.
Totally.
If you actually look them up on Twitter, man, these guys are ridiculous at what they do. But yeah, it's a pretty big contrast to what Nuckledu had to go through. I think he had taken down Adrian and Y on the way over, but being, I feel like maybe what the top 3 seeded players.
He was probably number 1 seed, yeah, at this point. He was first in points in the World Warrior, and then he got second in the World Warrior to the guy who didn't enter because there's no need to enter here. So he's probably number 1 in seeding. So as a result, right, your path tends to be easier. That's like the idea.
Quote unquote, yeah.
But still, again, you have to beat strong players to get here. It's never an easy mode, especially with how many players we had. 640 plus entered this thing.
It's a lot. And even some of the names that you don't really get to see on like streams, you don't regularly get to see on like Star GG as often, they'll take you down. They'll actually eliminate you from the bracket. We've seen that as a very evident case in Japan CPT with over 900 players plus. There were so many names in there where James and I were thinking to ourselves, like, who is 1100G? How did they beat Tachikawa twice in bracket? Like, how did they get the same person twice and beat him twice? Like, that's crazy.
That's a good
But
question. Yeah,
this is going to be as much of a toss-up as what we're getting at, right? With
Yeah.
over 600 people, it's still like, we'll see familiar names, but already, to our surprise, we've seen some really heavy hitters in the loser side. But going into it, right, Nuckledu versus Ramos, I think Nuckledu, enough can be talked about him. I mean, he's one of the top players in the world, right? Also just coming back from Japan, if I'm not mistaken, being part of Team Dominican Republic, taking down that 3v3. But Ramos, man, I'm very excited to see how he's going to perform today.
Yeah, that modern Chun, again, we're in a 2 out of 3 format here trying to make it into the top 8 in the first place, so you just got to win 2. We have seen modern Chun do well. We saw Haitani do well back at EVO.
Yeah.
It seems to me, just as an observer of the Japanese scene, that there are fewer players playing modern than it seemed like there was for a while. It seemed like there's maybe kind of a growth of that, and that hasn't.
Y aquí vamos.
But as somebody who plays modern myself,
Ah, Ramos
I
no
still
juega
think that it's
con.
legit.
No
So
juega
we'll see how
Ranked.
he makes
Está
it work.
en New Challenger.
Great start for him.
Kind of against the Sonic Boom. That's something you can expect with Chun-Li. I think she does a very good job against anybody who has a projectile and also kind of wants to play that space.
El escenario del Dalsim.
Shooty.
Shooty.
Helps her excel in these types of matches, but it's not to say like she has a significant advantage.
Flash
over some
kick.
characters.
No, yeah. But I highly agree that she is one of the best in the game. She's really good.
Se quedó en burnout y dropeó el combo.
On that.
Yeah, it's tough too when you end it with like a 4 to back DD.
Yeah. I mean, look, I understand
Muerta.
getting hit there because blocking was almost
No
as
muerte,
tough
pero
as
dejar
getting
con
hit.
poca
Because
vida.
you know that you're about to get crushed.
God, I love those moves. Has to stay there and hold it.
Uf, vida amarilla.
Dude, just kind of doing whatever he wants to in this situation. There it
Perfect
is. In the
parry.
corner.
Back throw.
That was a counter hit.
Oh, actually one hit away.
The
on both
shock
sides.
to.
Level 2 is here for Ramos. And if he gets through the fireball with that,
Oh, this is huge.
oh man, I'm worried. We're talking about modern Chun, but it doesn't matter.
No.
Chun's level 2, one of the best at blowing through stuff.
I was trying to take a look at the drive gauge and see if the precision was going to be from Ramos. He ends up just eating this little boom for the solid punch activation. Nuckledu, I feel like getting the better
Bueno.
hand of luck towards the end of the round, but now 2 back-to-back openers. You know, Ramos must have pressed the button in between because that wasn't a true combo.
Saving his drive gauge. Ramos just kind of hanging out a little bit patient here.
Yeah, pal.
That's what we do.
Oh, the
activity.
roundhouse.
He's woken up so far with that and also a crouching medium kick, so he's active there. Burns Ramos out.
Nobody expects the roundhouse on the pickup.
No.
But
No.
I do like this.
Back
throw.
throw.
Ramos picking and choosing spots on defense.
Perfect.
Nuckledu just blocked a few things before Super comes. At this point.
No va a gastar el level 3 aún. Take the throw. Lo mata. No gastar nada. Final round del primer set. ¿Será Ramos o será Nuckledu el que abrió el marcador? Qué buena reacción.
We'll take that. The damage on the drive gauge, the damage to the bar. You could cause that burnout.
He would love to.
Perfect.
Still be good.
Dude's away. Probably safe against getting burned at this point. Hold on.
Spinning bar kick.
Oh, he catches the back dash, but it's not plus enough to continue.
Qué buena. No lo mata.
A little more.
¡Lo mata!
Actually, the last
1 a
ace.
0
I
para
know,
Ramos.
pixels, man.
Madre mía.
Potential kick the mad damage.
I feel like it really did. Yeah,
What?
yeah.
And it's only the first game. That's yo,
And if you
Ramos?
think about it, in round 1, he also was 1 hit away, 1 mix-up away in that left
Yes,
corner from
yes.
taking round 1 as well. So, shout out to Ramos playing that very well.
That medium punch is a problem. That
Very good.
handshake, Nuckledu's
Very
run into it how many times over and led to a death? That's kind of nuts, man. This character's mad good.
I notice we're not going right back into the game. Are we seeing a character change? Of course, Dew has other ones up his sleeve. We've seen Cammy, but less
Multiple times,
commonly
yeah.
than we had in the past. It's going to be Guile again. Okay.
Okay.
When SF6 was newer, he was playing her more, but when I've seen him play online, just constantly playing an online tournament, it's almost always Guile.
Again, how many times has Ramos read the deal around that Sonic Boom? It's not an easy feat to react to it. Again, modern might be the reason exactly why, but
Yeah, I mean,
as
and that's,
consistent as it is, it's still, you have to time it correctly.
you just got to think of modern.
Flush
being
kick.
improved
Perfect.
mechanism. It's just
Perfect.
slightly different base.
Perfect.
One of them is on reaction.
Flash kick. Uy, Do is space.
A bit of a slower pace, and I like this from Nuckledu with this type of approach.
Flash kick.
We've had Ramos
Perfect.
trying to really think
Bien,
about
se
something
cubrió el
himself.
Asanchu.
Aces not gonna be able to catch in time.
Spinning bar kick.
And interesting that he is up the game because I
No.
feel like his pressure has been quite.
No.
That would have been,
Nada.
that would have been very interesting if he actually went for a third round.
All right, well, let's see what he has here. Trying to even it up in games. Perfect yet again. Trying to fake a little bit. He's hoping to goad Ramos into something ill-advised.
And what a punish counter as well. The full swing, crouch jab into the fierce. I love those types of combos.
Bunch of perfects. Oh, here it is. The medium yet again, as you said. It is strong. Man, I feel like that was one of the first times he actually did a meaty.
I felt like it was slightly delayed. Maybe he was trying
Maybe it was delayed even, yeah, yeah. Okay, 2 gets the burn.
Uf, burnout de nuevo.
Side. He still has level 2 and 3. He can still be dangerous. Here it is!
There it is.
Level 3
Just
punish
moments.
counter.
Now, is that modern damage though?
That's the question. I think that's real. He really did the motion, I think.
Sí, hizo la motion.
Block is oh my god!
That's huge.
Another
Again.
chance! We're at
Match
the
point para
Imagine
Ramos.
if
A punto
top
de
eight
enviar a
winners does not
Nuckledu a
include
losers.
Or Idom or Nuckledu. We're 1 round away.
Uf.
Another handshake of destiny. Ramos getting the corner parry, forward throw as well. Can be getting the string going.
First
but
upset.
touching the keep up, to be honest. Speaking of, yeah, there is the drive reversal. Had to get off, and he has not been able to breathe in this corner just yet. Hopefully he lets the boom do the talking. Again, the punish counter off of the crouching jab into the fierce. Smooth like butter.
Options there. Ramos's drive gauge. Okay, it is gone. He's gonna
Oy,
have level
no.
2 and still be dangerous. Duke cannot comfortably throw a boom if there's charge, and there is charge now.
Even so, I mean, with modern, you're still able to.
Yeah, it's a
You
button,
still
man.
have to charge, excuse me.
But it is just a button on reaction.
Overhead. Lo mata.
Hey.
1 a 1.
Do the appropriate conversion as well. I was thinking to myself, there's no way Ramos is doing here.
Okay, there it is.
Sí.
But man, it is close. It is close.
Double 2 could have been everything. It could have been absolutely everything for Ramos to take down Nuckledu. And that was a very, very intense moment to see Nuckledu sweating like that.
El
I
tema
don't
del
think I've
Dalsim de
ever seen
fondo.
him, stuck in that corner for as long as he did against any Chun player, really, because like most of the
Na
time,
na
Nuckledu,
na
he
na
hasn't
na
been
na na
talented.
dan 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 dun dun
I'm gonna
dun 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 dun
I
dun
feel like he had a
dun
run for his
dun
money
dun
on
dun
defense.
dun
It looked like he really wanted to play as well.
no
I was
dun
thinking
dun
about
dun
Honda level 2 character that I
dun.
play in Modern, which is charged, but Chun's is not actually. So
It's quarter circle forward.
yeah, yeah.
That's why I was like, wait,
Yeah, I know. It's just
huh? I was actually
like a little jealous.
I believed you a little bit.
Yeah.
Wait,
Dun dun dun
I'm not gonna think about it. Don't play games with my mind, man. I'm still trying to wake up from Japan. From
Oh
Japan,
yeah, yeah,
man.
something happened earlier.
Something to, yeah. BBD, huh? Chun-Li versus Guile again.
New challenger. Again.
Brother, that was just the counter hit. Nuckledu just got hit once. Maybe try to press a button to contest it. I mean,
Right.
obviously he did. It was a
Right,
counter.
right, right.
Excuse me. Oof. Slugging, how many heavies? 10 health.
A little more active. Ramos again, close to being burned.
1 a 1 empatados.
Doesn't want to take the beams. Doesn't even want to try to perfect parry. He's been taken to the skies a lot against these booms, but from this distance, it gives Nuckledu a lot of time to both recover and react appropriately with the anti-air.
Tu tu tu.
Putting up such a wall. Ready there. Ramos still alive. If you can get 2 mix-ups here, he can take it.
Ooh.
1. Oh, wake up!
Match
It is
point
enough
para
to lose that
Nuckledu.
match point.
And it's so awkward too off of that back throw. You're not necessarily going to guarantee yourself easier meeting than a jab, right? You'd have to commit to like maybe like a back throw or something, or even like a low forward in that range. Back throw there.
Yeah,
Sorry, I was thinking about it. Not going to set up for the blade just yet, and it's a lot of the boom talking, right? He's trying to force that error from Ramos. Again, from certain distances, you're not going to have a good time with these Hazan shoes.
Dangerous now for Ramos to get hit. If it's the right one, Duke can already kill, but even if it's not, it's going to be a tough look.
No
for
way!
Ramos. Nice pick up.
What a conversion!
Qué buen combo. Come on.
Solid punch. He can accomplish his goal of burnout. He does
Burnout
so, but
otra vez.
Ramos isn't going to take too much damage off of it unless the mix comes. Maybe like a dry rush overhead.
Oh,
No
boy.
anti-air.
Take the
Duke
throw.
is in place.
Yes, Duke understands that completely, that Ramos was frozen. You could see that. He took advantage of it. Now he's on the other side of the screen. Safe. Other side of the beach.
Bien, recuperó la barra.
Full drive gauge. He can still take this away from Nuckledu.
I mean, again, he still has level 2 and 3. He's got C8 even. And
No.
it's
Nada.
not gonna happen.
Y Nuckledu derrota a Ramos 2 a 1 y se clasifica top 8 winners side.
Tomorrow.
Nice work, young man, doing it for the OGs. What a statement. What an actual statement. Big ups to Ramos, man. I think there's like a small intricacies where he was kind of outplayed, and it was revolving around the Sonic Booms.
2 a 1, pero Ramos le puso bastante pelea a Nuckledu.
But also, not willing to kind of like throw out some of the parries as well. I know it's very difficult. You don't want to lose that gauge because we've seen what happened with Nuckledu and like the amount of meter he has, right? I think his defensive choices to move on in weren't necessarily the best. It led to a lot of extra damage as anti-airs, but like walking and blocking, it's like you're still going to take chip damage, right? Or you're going to take drive gauge damage.
Yeah, for sure. But Dew's booms are just unique. Like if people haven't trained against Dew, I feel like it's just really, really tough to contend with his timings and which strengths he picks, and you know when he backs off and when it's normals time. It's just really, really hard to get a read on that stuff. So I thought Ramos played neutral well. I wanted to see more of this. I know that he has the reactions because there it was, and we saw the EX Zanshu, for example. There were more opportunities for that stuff. I think even more than that, though, he won mostly in neutral, even though you're right.
Ahora vamos con SpaceBoy contra BananaKen.
Was light.
Buah.
Dew was able to wake up with buttons quite a number of times. And that was really a big swing I felt in the match. Dew like almost immediately read, oh, you're gonna let me wake up with crouching medium kick? Okay, cool. Here's roundhouse. Here's jab in the boom. Like here's a bunch of stuff. He did back.
SpaceBoy don't have a chance.
Through that kind of defensive read,
BananaKen.
as well as other great play, makes it into top 8 winners.
Viene ahora SpaceBoy contra BananaKen.
Now that I think about it,
I don't think so, because he was doing other stuff.
Yeah, and that's the big fear, right? You get a knockdown at any charge character like that, it's like, man, do I really have to play this respectfully? Do I have to like really think about the OD flash kick?
I gotta think about what you're doing.
Yeah, like
What's this? What kind of game are we playing?
Not every you know what? Not every character has that type of luxury to be able to wake up with a reversal outside of having meter. So it's like, man, I have to really think about my meaty decision here. But like again, overall, I think Nuckledu already like instilling this fear without having to is a pretty big deal, right? It's like I didn't flash kick him once, and he's letting me press.
No, you're right.
Okay.
That was a good swing. I totally agree with you. So that's the first match. We're gonna have SpaceBoy versus BananaKen.
BananaKen.
This is gonna be sick. Actually, I'm really excited. I'm a fan of both of these players. It's great to see SpaceBoy and his current upswing in the game. Not Paceboy. His hand is blocking the S. But
No photo.
SpaceBoy coming in from New Jersey. BananaKen, not an actual banana, and not even playing Ken.
He got that name from forever ago. So this is somebody who has had, again, 3 top 16s at EVO in 3 different games. One of them was in Street Fighter 4 when it was with banana-colored Ken.
Yeah, and he was the one who won the cowboy hat.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was the extra prize over at EVO back in the day. He won the cowboy Ken hat in that top 16 and wore it for the rest of the week.
It was like highest ranking or highest placing Ken, if I recall correctly. Yeah, that was cool.
Right.
Anyway, been a top player for a long, long time. He started with Third Strike, he says. That was his first competitive fighting game. He and the PR crew, very strong players that they have down there, of course, but he's been living in the continental US for a long time and still been having a lot of success. As far as SpaceBoy goes, 5th place in World Warrior, 5th in points as well. Guess what? BananaKen, 5th place in World Warrior as well, 4th in points. So a couple of guys who had similar situations. But man, BananaKen, if you guys take a look at CFN, highest MR in the world, that dude is always near the top of the list.
Really?
He is always grinding up there. Yep.
I'm not surprised, man. This guy is not letting off the gas with his also performance in Street Fighter League US. I know that was like a while ago, but just overall, man, his JP has not stopped. And you can see it also in his performance in his Start GG path, right? He's taking down Samij 2-1. He's taking down OG Killicam. Yo, big shout out to Killicam, by the way. I respect the game. Squat Vermilion 2-0 as well. That was a pretty tough route to go.
Yeah, we felt like it's probably like the toughest like seeded player winner's side run that we saw today. So shout outs to him, and we do have words from him before this begins.
A ver.
SpaceBoy is a tough opponent, that is for sure. It'll be a good match. Man, is this CPT Japan? BananaKen, come on now. Listen, I know you got a lot to say, but also very respectable and humble player as well. Really, really nice guy in person. But I get it, and it's true. SpaceBoy has been on the up and up since I think like the later seasons of 5, and has really, I feel like, found a big understanding for how Street Fighter games work now. I think he's done a great job of like adapting from 5 into 6.
Yep, strong Shoto type play. And if you're going to be playing a strong Shoto in this game, do you have an opinion on who you might want to pick up?
Ken. But it's Luke. It's actually
Luke versus JP.
Man, somebody in the ministry is just giving me a DM about this. I should have kept my mouth shut. David. You set me up.
I did.
Either way, both these characters very much so in the conversation of the top 3 spots. But as it stands right now, BananaKen does have the upper hand, at least with the corner positioning, despite here SpaceBoy so reluctant to move on forward.
Ah oui.
Surgical spot for the farthest region.
Luke versus JP.
Love that positioning.
Time Blast.
Just medium punch is a tool. That is for sure.
It's like the best version that like a normal like that has ever been in Street Fighter.
Oh no, yeah, that's for sure. Whew. That exchange, I think that's much better. Oh, I take it back.
One thing I'm always impressed by with BananaKen though is that when he's burned out, he still has awesome reactions with the name of the move that I'm forgetting.
Yes.
Like with amnesia.
Departure. You got amnesia? No, JP
I was
got
trying to
amnesia.
set you up. It didn't work very well, but here's SpaceBoy.
Primer round para el señor SpaceBoy.
Couldn't help it, David. Do that in between the rounds, not like actually during, because I'm not awake all the way. I'm not gonna lie to you. That was actually super imperative. But hey, it worked out pretty well for SpaceBoy despite dropping that perfect knuckle setup.
Oh, interesting series. Oh, what a
No.
by BananaKen.
Boo.
They're still in time, yes sir. Sets up the departure. Yes, and the pickup is there. Sets up departure
No.
again. The
Y está en
drop,
burnout.
why not? And the pickup level 3. He's put him into the loop. What a block.
But not enough. BananaKen will take
Se gasta el level 3.
Very expensive round at that, but I'll
Y está
take it.
usando el
Looking
costume
at the
3.
bar below from SpaceBoy, I mean,
El primer match estaban usando los costumes de Fau.
He could have died. He actually could have died from one dodge.
No, creo que tú estás usando el costume 2, no el costume 3. Pero BananaKen sí está usando el costume 3, el del Wizard.
navigating it well though, SpaceBoy. You gotta walk in and out sometimes to get away from that. Not all about always moving forward.
A little bit of a delay to the stagger. You see a BananaKen intentionally whipping his normal to catch, or at least no, not whipping. He was trying to catch the counter poke coming in
Oh.
SpaceBoy, as we usually have been seeing with some of the drive rush approaches now. Oh boy, that's hella damage, by the way.
Yeah, that's top left.
Memphis.
No, he's not. You sent him to the hospital.
Yeah, come on, man. What are you talking about?
Jeez.
I got uppercut.
There, but
Great
still
burn
the
out.
activity from BananaKen. SpaceBoy
What do you
is
got?
not
What do you
being
got?
able
Here's
to
the burn.
contain.
Doble burnout.
There'd be a lot of chip damage for sure. Oh, up to that point, SpaceBoy. Standing medium punch. It pushes Luke so far forward. Uppercut. Get
Bueno,
off.
usado el antiaéreo.
So Drag Gauge is back with SpaceBoys is very soon too. There it is. BananaKen harassing a little bit from range, but SpaceBoy's got such a light lead that that's just not going to be very threatening at the moment.
And it's so scary too that even let some of these departures open.
Defense.
If SpaceBoy decides to maybe go in with a drive rush, it could be a problem.
He certainly is threatening that. Like he's walking up into a
Here.
ring that is a threat, and then not taking the big bet on it. Yeah, there it was.
But that's fine. Oh, and the burnout there. Yeah, we're gonna see.
Okay.
No way. Level 2 is active.
Level 2.
Dude, what was that? And then burnout is there. No way.
Isn't it? It did. It did. Is that
He
enough?
let him-
No. He
That's
gets
not gonna
hit.
No.
Yes. Wow.
1-0 para BananaKen.
Max, with still time on the clock. I totally understand, like, maybe you wanted to pursue, like, return afterwards, because he's in burnout.
Yeah.
But that departure shadow was still lingering, man. The shadow was creeping.
Portal saving the day.
Sneaky, sneaky.
Yeah, kind of a late timing.
Go.
Get back to control. Setting up. It's about to come out. There it is.
Uppercut. Oh, I thought he was going to make it in time. The
Qué
burnout
buena.
instead. BananaKen looking for the burnout.
Number
That place
one.
Level 1. Perfect. Now he has the departure right in front of him. He has so much estate to kind of back up and still get that chip.
Ambos
back.
en burnout.
Oh!
What in the world?
Like
Bad
that.
read on where Luke was going to be.
Ah, you see the
No.
movement, you see the defensive capabilities of BananaKen. He's going to jump again. Yep, he delayed it this time. SpaceBoy finding him off with the crouch medium.
Amnesia.
is going to be more than enough. Level 1. Boom, bang.
Number 1.
Yeah, again, his regular
Match
range
point para BananaKen.
is better in burnout as JP than all everybody.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'm waiting for the really grimy stuff. This guy has gotten away with so many
Number
commanders.
1.
I'm wondering when that type of play is going to be coming out. But against SpaceBoy, it's so different. Oh, look at that.
What's wrong?
Very pretty important on that.
No.
Oh, And right away,
Tiger uppercut. No, Tiger uppercut.
Yeah, little attacks to get out.
Step aside. Nose up.
Hard to set up.
Ooh, to the
That's so
corner.
smart.
Tiger uppercut.
Attacks
Amnesia.
into anything again. It's a great defense, honestly, by SpaceBoy. Okay, Kane to the rescue.
Rob,
Two go in. Level
Do
2 is
it,
gonna come out.
he does have
Lo
the
mata.
parry attack, and you know BananaKen teased the idea
What
to throw. The
D?
defense was ridiculous, out of this world. SpaceBoy still can make it work, by the way. Does have critical art on deck.
Yeah,
Necesita una conversión, un confirm y lo mata.
No
Did he
way.
get got? Okay. Let's go, Banana. What do you got? What do you got?
way.
BananaKen envía a SpaceBoy la luces. 2-0.
Dog. That was actually sick.
What a sick reaction, man. Oh, that was so cool.
What a beast.
He was just day rushing right now. He wasn't busy enough that he was caught by the super. On reaction, he could bring out
2-0.
and get the kill. The banana.
That was so
moves forward.
satisfying.
Bueno.
That was so satisfying. Gave the slip
Such a cool
and hit it with
character,
something
come
so appealing.
What a cool
I
character.
love it. I really do. And he's got the yellow one. Yeah. Yeah.
didn't even
I
notice,
didn't
but
even
yeah, you're right,
realize it till now.
Yeah.
I respect it. I respect your play. But yo, SpaceBoy, big ups to him. I think there was like only one round where I feel like he made a very like anxious
Like
decision
Bison.
during the timeout, which is right here, right? 10 seconds left. We did have the shadow up. He tried to go for the tackle in order to pursue offense even further. There was a burnout situation for
Ooh.
BananaKen, but this right here, again, there's something so satisfying about that
That's
ending.
cool.
It's unfortunate that it had to happen to SpaceBoy. That was a highlight and a half.
Sounds fair.
BananaKen versus Nuckledu. We'll see that tomorrow.
Uf, Nuckledu versus BananaKen. Y ahora viene Psycho contra Naji. Que Psycho fue el culpable de enviar a Punk
Top 16.
a Losers.
Psycho
2-0.
versus Oni Naji.
This is
Yuri versus Kimberly,
Psycho
creo
had
que
quite the
era.
path. On the way over, I'm pretty sure you
Sí,
have that
Yuri
list, but
versus
what
Kimberly.
a throwback picture, my man.
Wow.
Street Fighter League Season 1, you're a beast.
23 años contra
Psycho,
25.
I see. Naji as well, very, very much so active online and also in almost every weekly tournament that you could imagine. This
Yeah.
guy has been grinding and really setting the pace for this character alongside folks like Nephew as well on the other side. But Naji, again, this photo was taken from, I feel like maybe Texas Showdown. I don't even know. Maybe it could be like his profile picture. But
Nice pick.
either way, these guys, Naji specifically, has been on the come up.
Yeah, Psycho's been around for a while, and he beat Punk to get here. And in our questions to the players, we try to find stuff out. One of the questions we typically ask is like, what controller are you using? And what that usually means is like, do you play on pad or stick or hitbox? What he said is, I'm playing on Punk's third place bronze Evo victors.
That's insane.
As he is Punk's former roommate. And I guess he ended up with that stick somehow. I don't know how that happened. But yeah, he did take down Punk 2-0 using Kim. We'll see that here. He says that Naji is a great player, but the matchup is cheeks. So we'll
Okay.
see. We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see about that. I think there's a lot to be said when it comes to like the Kimberly gameplay that has like come up these last couple of weeks, these last couple of months. Really, it's been a very, very tough time
Nadie dice nada.
to play that character. But she has so much going for her on offense. It's just the defensive aspect that gets kind of in the way for a lot of these players, or at least with the current status of like the meta.
I think you're right. Yeah, she has a lot to say in movement and in pressure. She's got some really unique tools in both of those, but she doesn't have every option. And I don't mean to say that like some characters are too good in their options, but there's a set of characters that are mostly of the top tiers that like have both offense and neutral. And
Aquí
also
vamos,
defensive
Juri
options.
versus
And
Kimberly.
She doesn't really have defense that's quite as good as
Let's
others.
go.
Doesn't have the EX invincibility, has a slow level 1, so she kind of has to get by on the rest of the game. But the rest of the game is really good.
She is an offensive monster. And it's not like something that's new to like Street Fighter.
Oh.
This is
Qué buena. Qué buen baiteo de Psycho al
Running out well meter, let's
DP de Naji. Y el señor Naji está usando el pajama Yuri. El costume 3 de Yuri.
OD Fireball to get the drive rush out of the way, not having to fear any of the root coverage.
Pajama Yuri.
That is such a sharp angle.
Take the
I think that's
throw.
one of the better tools she has if she has to play defense.
Take the throw again. Tradeo. ¿Se viene otro throw?
Hey.
Bien, se escapó de ahí.
I don't know if that was like an overlap of inputs or not. Perhaps.
And back to Psycho just hanging out. One thing about the way that... Oh my god.
Qué buena. ¿Lo mata?
Yeah.
That's a lot of damage. Level 1?
Lo mata, lo mata. Lo mata.
Really good station as a way to kill. That was beautiful.
Un round para Psycho. Qué buen salto.
Like, and the damage to seal down is cool, but what if you can?
I hear ya. I hear ya.
Take the throw.
Very
Those
cool
setups can be
character.
kind of nasty. Oh, that could have been huge. I did like the attempt at the conversion though. I think it was a little bit too far.
Level 2.
Juri coming on in. I love this also.
That's so good, yeah.
No.
That is a bait into whatever Naji wants. Good damage. Still in there for pressure.
I was gonna say I don't think she
Burnout.
utilized the feng shui up until this point. Make it hurt. Doesn't have enough to build a level 1, but that's totally fine.
Psycho. Alright. Now the question is, how much work can he do?
Oof.
Here's maybe the beginning. No, Naji's away.
Even is an option for Naji. You see a lot. Now there's a counter hit. It wasn't his
Okay,
turn
2
to
hits.
press. Huge.
2 hits and it's doable.
Well, you're gonna build yourself a level 3 at this point as well. Psycho, this is huge.
Oh boy.
Uf, level 3.
Oh
Saves it. He's gonna go for the kill on the next hit. That's the idea. Did he find something? No.
No funcionó.
And that's a very, very expensive loss. Yo, Naji.
Pero tiene el bufo de igual forma.
Oh, this could be the huge turnaround. But, you know, having normalized damage and also
Incluso aunque
sucks
haya
to buff
wifiado el
as well.
super, tiene el bufo.
Will excel.
That's true.
But that was hella meaty.
Yeah, I feel like there was something intended there. It doesn't happen, so Naji capitalizing. The way that the hoodies fall out.
What is that? Is that some character? I'll ask that later. Anyways, Naji sitting on a pretty significant life gauge. Just waiting for the drive rest to come back, and the drive gauge to initiate this offense. It's gonna be a lot now for Psycho to do it. Put yourself in the corner, and that was a counter hit. That was a delayed medium punch.
Lo mata. 1-0
Psycho got
para
ripped
Naji.
with that instead. I mean, it's understandable. Like when you see your opponent like put themselves on the other side, obviously that's towards the wall. You might think to yourself, they might try to back it.
El tema de Kimberly.
Came that time.
Este es el último match antes del primer corte de 5 minutos.
Psycho's in.
Después de eso viene el último match de Winners, que va a ser Paladin, el mejor Ryu de América.
Test against the low medium from Juri. I'm thinking about like what can Kimberly do to really whiff punish somebody? Like maybe your stand medium kick would be long enough.
That's not really the style, right? Like she has some great options again, but it's not really a whiff punish.
Ahora.
Some stuff. Not up there with somebody like Juri though, and here comes Naji.
Match point para Naji.
I feel like that's just been the stopper. I feel like for Psycho majority of that round, Naji was playing it pretty steady with the normals presented.
Great defense by Naji. Getting out of there. Again, taking the risk, and again he pays off.
For Juris.
Kicks fly out of there. He did have it backed up with an enhanced fireball, so it's understandable, but still. Psycho running into that. And running into this as well, the buffered fierce into the feng shui engine, knock him up.
It's an easy safe jump. Oh, he actually misses.
Who's that? It was a fake out? Way too early to catch anything.
Okay, Psycho is alive still.
Level 3 se gasta.
Not gonna kill though.
No lo va a matar porque el daño que hace el level 3 de Kim no es mucho.
Excellent.
Pero gana el bufo.
What?
Hello.
Wake up, Naji. Was it like a, just get it over with. I don't even know.
Was it like maybe intended as perfect parry into drive rush and he just like was a little bit early on pressing the parry button? I don't know. I'm trying to think about what that might have been. In any case, match point still for him.
But even so, like the idea of dashing
Ahora. A la pared. Take the throw. Take the throw. No.
Beautiful. Air to air.
Naji looking good. Is it enough?
This guy
Lo mata.
more than enough. What a
Y
flip
Naji
and a half.
envía
Naji
a
2-0
Psycho a loser y se clasifica a top 8
pretty
Winner's
exciting against Naji towards the
Side.
end. That was a really good call out.
Y ahora tiene que esperar el que gane de Paladin.
Normally you see him kind of like have the other person pay the tax, get uppercut for their wills. But yeah, Naji, I love that air-to-air option. That was beautifully done.
He had great defense. Super strong when it came to the right reads on the wake up. And, I mean, great offense when he needed it. He had good forward movement a lot of the time.
Oh, that's rough too, committing to that anti-air. I feel like Juri, most of the time, you have to commit to that uppercut. Maybe a crouching heavy. But still, there were some moments, really shining moments of Psycho, I think, on offense that really took Naji for a spin. I think there's been multiple times where he's gotten this corner positioning, but I think it's the decision making for him on defense is what really got him.
Yeah, and as we were saying before, that is a tough spot for her to be in. And so you got to make these reads that are just a little tougher. I mean, it's tough for everybody on defense. But if you don't have an invincible EX move, if you got a slow level 1, you just have to make some different decisions than other characters can. And Psycho, you know, nobody's going to get it right every
Y ahora
time.
viene Alex Smith contra Paladin, pero eso va a ser después del corte. Naji tiene que esperar que gane de Alex Smith contra Paladin. Así que tenemos hasta ahora Guile, JP, Juri y ahora creo que viene Chun-Li y Ryu.
Man, if he has to face off against Punk again, that'd be very nuts. I don't think that's how it works. But Naji, he's going to be moving on into the top 8. Big congrats to him and the rest so far. We got BananaKen as well as Nuckledu. As it stands right now, you guys have been tuning in to US, Canada, East, but we still have one more CPT qualifying spot.
Sí,
within
US,
the
Canada,
States.
Midwest.
Right, it's going to be US, Canada, Midwest. I should have said Canada as well. I should have just said North America. But either way, hey, the registration is closing Monday, January 15th at 10 a.m. PST. That's right. You want to make sure to sign up now if you haven't done so already. CapcomProTour.com is where you need to go for all the information needed.
Who likes food? Of course, we all do.
Chipotle.
David, excuse me?
And Chipotle has joined hands with Capcom during this first year of Street Fighter 6. You can download
Carne
the app and
asada.
Carne asada, for example, back on the grill for a limited time. Check it out.
Carne asada.
Thanks a lot to Chipotle for providing food.
I just came back from a big Chipotle run like this weekend.
Nice.
And I definitely went in on the carne asada.
Okay.
I had it right when it was finished cooking. I was like,
Oh,
dude,
nice work.
It was actually mad juicy. It actually tore apart my burrito because of how juicy it was.
It
I'm
was
not
too
gonna lie,
good.
it hit towards like the middle as I was like biting down to it. I'm like, man, I should have double locked this bad boy.
I'm a Sofritas guy. I really like those. They're really good. I mean, honestly, they're good. Anyway, we're gonna take a break. We'll be back with more.
Ok,
of the US,
descanso de
Canada,
5
East.
minutos. Ya regreso.
Chipotle's carne asada is back.
¡Carne asada!
Tender cuts of steak, grilled and seasoned with cumin, oregano, and coriander. Finished with fresh lime and hand-chopped cilantro. Carne asada. This is our best steak ever. Showtime, baby! Right now. Everyone's ticket for this Capcom company is getting a show. Final game, final round! You couldn't find a better story. Get into the ring! God, I'm low. God, my soul. All of my thoughts be dark like coal. Up to the party, y'all don't want smoke. Energize the body, raise up the yard right now. I'll take on all of you. Right now. I win it all right now. Straight on. These corner pressure is where every walk up thrive. No more games. Time to get serious. Meta RD taking it down convincingly against the biggest threat thus far. Show me the replay. Sit down and shut up. Wait a minute. Turn it up. I'm on fire. It's like creative physics. It's like I was born with a yellow physics. Close my eyes, all I see is digits. This how I feel when you get to the commas.
That felt good, didn't it?
Emoji going the distance.
I've seen a lot of fights in my day, but nothing even comes close to this.
Wrap this up.
Oh, it was.
Meaningless.
I present the hunter from Kumura.
one of the best players in the world over the course of Street Fighter V. One of the top, I would say at least like what, top 3. Of course, 2019 Capcom Cup champion. What's going on with you, brother? What's up, bro? My dog, it's good seeing you out here. So I gotta ask, man, we got a brand new game. We got Street Fighter 6. How are you feeling when it comes to Street Fighter 6? I know you've had some interesting thoughts about it, so you can be, you know, yeah. What's the game been like for you so far?
The game is really fun. I definitely think the fun factor is definitely at an all-time high. I think this is probably one of the most fun and interesting Street Fighter games they've ever made. There's a lot of things, but I feel like the balance is so delicate that it's so hard to tinker with anything in the game. Like, I think they did a good job trying to balance the game the way they did, though.
Well, like you said, the fun factor is crazy, but at the same time, like, you know, the resource management, because the drive gauge being there from the beginning and everything, it's like it's dope at the high level, and if you're just kind of getting into it. One thing we already know is that you, again, won Cup back in 2019. You won 250 grand, $250,000. So what did it feel like knowing you won this tournament already, and now there's a $2 million prize pool and $1 million to first place? You've already shown yourself that you can win it. So what's your mentality right now?
You know, I'm always confident in myself. I always believe in myself. In my current play in Street Fighter 6, I feel like I haven't been up to how good I was playing in 5.
You know, here going with Manon and Street Fighter 5 going with Laura, neither of them were really considered top tier. What goes in your thought process picking Manon versus instead of picking a higher tier character?
So I've always had a theory in fighting games, like it's good to pick the best character in a game, obviously, but there's always you might not know the matchup, you know, character speciality thing, you know, maybe in this region there's no strong Laura, Manon, whatever it might be, kind of players. So I think you have a lot of advantages. Like, you don't want to pick the best because, like,
everybody knows the matchup.
Everyone knows what they're doing. So you want to go like high, but not too high kind of thing. So that's kind of like my golden rule. For every fighting game I've played, I've always had that same kind of like logic. You want to.
Ya estamos aquí. Entrevista al Idom.
That actually makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that's a unique thought process. I feel like most players only go straight to like the the top tier and all that.
That being said, I don't think Manon is that good.
Idom making sure he sneak that in there on the official Capcom stream. He know that they watch it and he wants some Manon buff. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Capcom Cup champion, New York's very own IDC.
Well, we'll be seeing that guy later on, but not quite yet as we're back here with the US Canada East. We are a bit of the way through winner's side of top 16. We're trying to get into our top 8. One remains in that top 16 before we then go down to losers, which is where Idom is. Yes, if you're just tuning in, Idom and Punk are
and losers
top 16. I'm Ultra David. I'm here with Vicious. We're going to be carrying you through the rest of this thing.
It's going to be sick, too. In regards to what had happened earlier, in case you might have missed it, we do have that refresher on the bracket. Let's take a look at who our first 3 competitors in our top 8 is. Nuckledu and BananaKen, we've seen that transpire earlier. Naji taking it down against
Alex Smith contra Paladin.
Punk into losers bracket. We also have another one of those matches for you. Alex Smith and Paladin. Now, Paladin, he's the one that put Idom into losers, if I'm not mistaken.
Oof. Yep, he fitted cap and then qualified into this over Idom.
Paladin time.
And Alex Smith didn't have an easy path either. Had to beat Fluxwaves, very, very strong player, and then qualified over Strife to get into this situation. So, a couple of guys who have
16 años
so far. Man, as you teed up at the beginning of this show,
16 versus
rare to see
39.
the disparity that we see down there. That is an entire person in between
16
them.
versus Juri versus
Some of the
Ryu.
people who are in this event are that age difference in themselves. So shout out to Alex Smith, who is younger than me, who's still doing a great job.
He still looks so young.
He looks great.
Also, by the way, Alex, thank you for holding it down on Street Fighter Duel for our clan. I appreciate it. Long FGC is thriving because of you. Alex Smith at
really
39 years old, huh?
He
and
says,
Paladin at 16?
At 16,
Dude, and he's been doing amazing work with his current content of showing off some of the things that Ryu can do. And Ryu, although is highlighted as his main, that's been a lot of focus for that character, or at least for this player, for this character, he does have a pocket loop just in case.
Yeah, I mean, and in talking with some of the guys earlier, they were saying that even in SF5, he had a really strong Ryu. And when SF5 was out, he was like literally a single-digit age for the first couple years. So anyway, congratulations, everybody. We've made it to that point. I love it. I think it's great seeing the next generation come up. As far as Alex Smith goes, he says his fact about himself, and I've known this, is I play guitar in the death doom metal band Fake and Eyes. Check it out.
That's cool.
It is very cool.
Word?
And for Paladin, you know, 22nd in World Warrior in points, but he's a regular at like every online tournament. We see him all the time. Alex Smith is up there all the time. A couple of guys who are grinding it a lot. And Alex Smith has something to say.
A ver qué dice.
Says, Paladin is a very strong player, and I hope we'll both play to the best of our abilities.
I like that. I
Yeah,
respect
it's
it a
nice.
lot. I mean, like, Alex
Whoa.
Smith has never really been one to, like, go outside the box in regards to, like, trash talk,
Yeah.
I feel like. Unless it was in person. I think he could get loud, but that's not really
Totally.
his nature. He's been a really nice and humble guy to be around. But, man, I was thinking about Paladin. I don't really get to see that much interaction from Paladin in general. Like, all of his tweets have been very, very pleasant to look at. And also, a lot of tech from that young
Right.
man as well.
Right. No, I think that's cool. And we, of course, again, we ask players how you prepare for this. You know, what do you do going into this?
Sure.
And I thought that they both had cool things
Yeah.
to say. Alex Smith said, I've given a lot of focus
Aquí
on
vamos,
making
Juri versus Ryu.
adaptations, respecting my opponent's abilities and habits, and trusting myself. Paladin says, I studied this game, period. A lot, period.
He really does. There's a lot of really neat things that he's discovered as Ryu. But man, this actual, I haven't seen the classic costume default color 1 ever. But man, it looks nice. It looks really sharp.
Alex is going to be the first one to get the corner. Harassing a little bit.
Man, laying it down after the lights too. Normally you would think it was turned, and I love the way he staggered it. But look at this, the bust out Paladin.
No
for the
ranked
throw.
ones.
Not gonna go for the jogger again. Man, we got the alpha throwback. How often do you get to see that used as a poke?
A little hoppy kick. There it is.
Damn, and to confirm.
Hey,
My
what a
God.
wait. He really waited a funky amount of time.
Round para
That was
Paladin,
great.
usando el Costume
It was
2
nice.
clásico. Y Alex Smith usando el Costume 3.
Ryu's got some juice. I think he's a little underrated. Here it is.
Whoa, that's
Reaction.
huge. Bang. I'll take that back. Back up for the side switch.
Paladin continues to be ready. Burns Alex out.
Good decision making from Paladin. That was an OD version of that to ensure the chip down.
Uh-oh. Is that close enough? Oh, well, maybe not.
Paladin's trying to block out of there again, trying to counter hit. No, sir. The punish counter is there. Alex, can he get a
Let's see
significant
you
opening
more
to get
in
himself
GVS.
What's that level 3 attack? Oh, there was the attempt for crouching heavy punch again. We talked about that with the last Jury player.
Lo mata.
Level
1
3
a 0
incoming
a
Paladin.
favor de
So much
Paladin.
damage. Getting game number 1. That's mad unfortunate.
1 a
Alex
0.
with Jury, not committing to the uppercut, the true invincible anti-air, right? That crouching heavy punch
Real
is
win.
everything for Paladin. And it's a
Fighto.
pretty common occurrence actually. When you get some of these Sotos doing some of these jump heavy punches, there's a lot of interactions where it's like if you press it early enough, it just outright stuffs the anti-air.
Oh, yeah. Great punch. Again, I think the Ryu's definitely got some juice. Chases it. Okay,
That
funky
was so
timing on
delayed.
that. Yeah. I really like his framings in frame track so far. This is cool.
This is the first low forward we've seen. It's a very common button from a Shogun, but man, only see it once thus far. That was actually a weird. A Shogun, Alex Smith able to get the weird conversion out of that. Again, now chasing Paladin down, as you should. Rolling burnout, forward throw.
Uy, take the throw. Cuidado la pared. La pared. La pared Paladin. Cuidado.
Oh,
Y
nice work.
XDP a la pared. No
That
saltar.
anti-air, man, after having lost that previous game, dude,
Round
he's
para
really
Alex
trying
Smith.
a non-involved anti-air. This dude has really shaped up in that round. It's a big anti-air.
Ooh, and that is a heavy starter.
That's
Oh,
Maki.
literally Paladin with a standing heavy punch. Just running right into
Perfect
it.
parry.
It's the meter you're after. Oh. And he gets the start
Cute.
with the charger.
Could have had a little more.
No way. I like that. Keeping it
Se va a
simple.
gastar el level 3.
Build back your gauge. Damage really significant. Not going to be a significant life lead. It is a lot of damage for sure.
But it also was a risk. If Paladin gets a knockdown right away into the corner. Oh.
Toma.
Look at the damage incoming too.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to spend it. Driver forward.
This is a 9 KO match point para Paladin.
And spinning like a super. It's potentially great. High upside. But there is a risk to that as well.
Walker.
He was hounding for damage. The extension. Charge up as well.
The DP came. back to neutral, where I have really liked Paladin's forward movement. Again, he's used the fireball as a shield nicely to move in. This time he's ready.
Oh. It's such an interesting switch off between like Paladin going for the fireballs, going for like different special moves. It's hard to keep track of what he wants to do in neutral. I agree.
Tengo que sí.
There, oh
And then you get
Qué
stuff like
buena.
that from the drive impact, not random, but it was actually a
Ambos
very,
en
very
burnout.
fortunate
Take the
circumstance.
throw.
Alex actually tried to
For
go
the match.
for it.
Got him!
Oh my
Lo
God.
mata.
Paladin
Y Paladin
crashes
top
the
8
game,
winner's
and
side.
with that, he punches his ticket
Okay. Oh.
into winner's side, top 8. 16 years old. What is this about teenage Ryu players doing well in the CPT? Not the first one.
Ending walk-up versus
Somehow.
Paladin first to 10 Ryu mirror match. Give it to me.
I love
Make
it, man.
it
He
happen.
played so great. That
Make
was
it
a
happen.
fantastic couple of games from him.
That was phenomenal. I think there's a lot to really be said about Paladin.
2-0, así que el top 8 el winner ya está confirmado. Nuckledu versus BananaKen, Naji versus Paladin. O sea que tenemos Guile, JP, Juri y Ryu en winners. Ahora vamos con la otra parte. El estanque de tiburones, el lado de losers. El lado de loser va a ser una carnicería.
Yeah, I really liked his frame trap timings. His forward movement timings were great.
El lado de loser va a ser un baño.
You know, he wasn't dissuaded from jumping, even though he got anti-aired a bunch of times in the round before that one. And just had a real clear goal in mind, I think, and some interesting ways of achieving it. So shout outs to Paladin, he moves forward. Alex Smith is still in, but is going to be down in loser side. So that's your top 8 winners. We'll see them tomorrow. Nuckledu, BananaKen, Naji, Paladin. Enjoy your night. Prepping for tomorrow. But we're going to go down to loser side for the rest of this.
This is going to be sick, too. Again, this is a one-shot only type of deal. Adrian NY going up against...
Y aquí vamos, Adrian E contra Fluxwaves, el único canadiense. El único canadiense en top 16. No sé qué usa Adriani. No sé si usa Kami. Pero sé que Fluxwaves va a usar Juri. No, va a usar JP.
Oh yeah, I mean he kills it regularly when it comes
Ah no,
to
Guile.
online
Guile
games.
versus
Yeah,
JP.
GC, has been doing great work. And you know, it's not the first game he's done great work in. He was strong in SF5, but interestingly, he notes in his fact about himself that Street Fighter V was his first competitive fighting game. So good work that he's really picked it up. Oh my God, that was 8 years ago, so he's had a little bit of time.
Yeah, and he's evolved immensely, man. I
No,
still
so he's so
remember.
good, yeah.
I still remember the young man that came through to one of the Red Bull Conquest, not Conquest, sorry, the Battlegrounds events. He got invited over for winning his local event. He had a giant binder with him, full of notes.
Sick.
All handwritten, and he would go through it every single time. He was the reason why there was a lot of breaks. But I will say this: it was like, you know what? Take as much time as you need because this is godlike.
Oh, that's super cool. Yeah. So Adrian's down here because he lost to Nuckledu. He did though beat players including Base, Diaphone, Complex 90, and then Fitted Cap to get to where he is right here. Fluxwaves lost to Alex Smith and beat Simple Tricks to get into this position. You know, Adrian, we mentioned that he plays a lot in these big tournaments. I looked up his Start GG history just to see, and yeah, I saw him like entering a ton of stuff, just very consistently entering constantly. However, as far as I can tell, this is the first big online tournament, top 16 that he has made. And what a time to do it. So shout out to him for getting up there when he really needed to. As far as Fluxwaves, got some words from him.
A ver qué dice Fluxwaves.
JP does well against Guile, so I'm comfortable. But I also make bad decisions, so I'm scared. The duality of man.
That's awesome, yeah.
I do appreciate that. That is actually the truth.
Yeah, that is the truth, yeah.
For everybody playing in the CPT, man. We totally get that. You can just insert character here, and then the rest is fine.
You're right. You're totally right, yeah. Fluxwaves was in World Warrior Canada East, of course. And all the rest of the players in this were in US Canada East. So in that, he got second place. Almost qualified for Capcom Cup already, not quite.
Fell to the Joe Umerogan, if I'm not mistaken.
I think that's right, yeah. And he says about himself in terms of how he prepped, I grinded ranked, studied opponents, labbed scenarios, you know, the usual. Just sick. I like that's the usual. And as far as Adrian and why his prep is just playing in weekly tournaments, as you mentioned, that's what he does. He also says looking rough.
Aquí vamos, ambos con costume 3. Fluxwave versus Adriani, Guile versus JP.
See a little bit of the pattern from pressure from Fluxwave. Not too shy about letting that rock out grip. A little bit of a funky occurrence too, Adrian. What are you going to do with these booms? You got to make it count, but it's Fluxwave. He's not going to be deterred, right? He's going to be spending the OD to kind of reset that momentum against the fireball pressure. That is huge, actually, a big trade-off, number one. Flux waves.
Oh,
too far for the Drake.
Not punished. And Adrian gets to be a little patient. He's got a slight life lead. He's got a big drive gauge lead. He doesn't really need to do a lot.
That's such
Oh.
man, it's such a deceptive tool.
Ooh.
Okay. Slight miss on that.
This has been such a very. Oh, okay. I was waiting for the big risk, and Adrian having the appropriate response. OD flash kick. I wonder if he could have maintained his charge and still anti-aired, actually.
I wonder that as well. Now the burn.
Feel it.
Oh, trying to get over crouching medium kick is a cute idea with that upside down kick.
I think it's worth. It's
Is that in range? It is.
Yeah,
Okay.
Good response. And he's about to get his drive gauge back. Up until this point. Man, Flux at the best time possible catching Adrian slipping. And that was a moment where Adrian could have just held back. Right? I think there was a moment where he's like, you know, I can get my drive gauge back at least in this moment. I could possibly get chipped out. No longer a question. Throw.
I'd love to see some more offense here. He is mounting it. He's trying. He's trying to get the corner. Pushing slowly. Jump medium to the rescue as Flux gets to move forward out of the corner.
It's a funky scenario. Like, even if you do maintain your charge, is it far enough to actually with the flash kick?
That trade I think is fine on a lot of times.
Ok,
but not
round
right
hasta
now,
ahora para
because
Flux
there's
Waves con el
way less
JP.
life.
Contra el Guile de Adrián New York. Que este es el primer match de losers. El que pierda ahora se va para la casa. Y el otro pasa al segundo round. Acá en este caso de Adrián Ni tendrá que enfrentarse contra Alex Smith. Así es. No, se mató solo. Round para Flux Waves.
Exactly what put him into burnout. It's so interesting that you see like the mechanics drain the meter first before you actually see the action. I actually wasn't thinking about it. I thought the block had put him into burnout. I was like, what? I didn't even see that.
Drive reversal, yeah.
Is that like a now I'm thinking to myself, it's like that could be a really sneaky way to throw in that drive reversal. It's like, did the opponent actually put me into burnout and I could actually pursue my offense further?
I suppose, yeah.
Right?
Okay.
At the very end. So I do like the idea. That actually tricked the hell out of me. I thought genuinely that Flux Waves was the one that put Adrian into burnout. So if I was thinking like as Flux Waves, like, all right, well, I'm going to just press a button and go on with the chip sequence.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then the drive reversal hit, it was like, what?
So, all right, game one didn't go well. As we mentioned, he said that he might use Luke. His quote is, might use Luke, IDK. So, I don't know. Maybe that's where we're at right now.
It's not going to be the case. It's going to be Guile. Is this a bartender outfit? Is that what it was? Like he's got a...
This Guile?
He's got like
Or
a side gig as a bartender.
I can see that.
Maybe he owns his own bar, perhaps. That's what I've heard, anyway. I don't know if that's actually the on the door with a couple of lights and the spacing trap with the fierce as well. Not going to really come out of anything. Adrian hasn't really focused after that sequence. If you're taking a gander at it, that's huge.
Yeah, this is
Tácate, sácase. A la pared, portalito. Here's go.
Booms there, of course, with the spike control from under your feet, so it's not easy to play a normal game. And he's going to be right back in
Here,
that situation again.
go. Here.
Adrian doing most with the Sonic Booms now, but it's still like at this deficit, he still has to be the one to move forward. Or else you fear of the burnout.
Yeah, which is where he is now. He doesn't perfect carry. Ooh. Yeah.
No. Match point para Flux Waves.
Again, just has not been able to really establish himself on offense and has been playing in the web of Flux Waves majority of the time.
Yeah, if he could find some strong offense, maybe things could be different. But as you said, that just has not come.
To be fair, I think Flux Waves has done a fantastic job.
No sabe. Parece que esto es situación de jaque mate para Flux Waves, que ya lo tiene ganado. Y ese combo, bueno, no fue un combo, porque dropió una parte del combo.
Big interruption. It could have led to so much more.
Yeah, right, and before that he had to drop combos. Well, we did actually manage to find the flash kick anyway. A couple of issues for him. But, oh, here's a big opportunity. If he finds the hit, he can already kill.
No,
that's too late.
No, se mató solo.
Got a field form on that. CA's on the other side.
Level 3. Is dead.
That is gonna kill, actually.
Dude, it's gonna be close.
Is dead.
That's
Is
CA.
dead.
It is
Is
the-
dead.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I wouldn't be surprised. It's enough.
Oh my
Is
god.
dead.
That's this goes screen. That's
There you
actually kind of unfortunate.
I mean, you gotta feel for Adrian, right? He had a chance to
Oh,
take that round,
man.
if nothing else. At least a round to then get settled, right? Get his head back
Así
into
que
the
Adriani
game,
es el primer eliminado del top 16 de CPT US Canada East.
As a result, he's out of the tournament. So it's gonna be Flux Waves who moves forward.
Yeah, there's a lot to really be said about the match for sure, but it's another thing for it to play out the way it did. Fluxwave did a fantastic job of really like neutralizing one of the big things that Valve is
Onic
known for. Sonic Boom has not
Harken.
really been a very valid strategy, I feel like, for Adrian at this point, right? As soon as he found out the Sonic Booms weren't working, I think
Away.
his approach on offense wasn't
Pácate.
quite necessarily
Go. Get
all
Bruce.
there, just for
Go.
lack of better words.
Here's.
I mean, a
Go.
lot of guys consider it a bad
Pierce.
matchup, and I
Go.
understand. It's just,
Pierce.
as we've been saying, it's hard to throw booms
Ese
on
drop
armor.
le costó
JP
todo a
controls the
Adriani.
stage area that you like to control.
Ese drop del level
But,
3.
aside from that, as we saw right there, that was a drop combo that could have been the round. Before that, there was another drop combo, and before that, there was another drop combo. So, I mean, we've all been there. Like, it's a tough spot to be in, to lose a tournament match where in the last couple rounds, you drop situations like that really could have led to different results.
Vamos con el segundo match antes de... No, el último match antes del segundo corte.
Yeah, for sure.
Kami
That's-
contra
that's a
Semish.
tough
Que
way
esto
to
creo
go.
que es
So,
Yuri
Adrian next
versus
time will be
Luke.
better, but for now, Flux Waves versus Alex Smith will be in the next
Alex
round.
Smith versus
So,
Fluxwave.
next
Buena
round,
suerte. Yuri versus JP.
gonna be Kami.
Kami
and
versus
Semish.
Semish. Esto creo que es Luke versus Yuri.
I never know where Kami is anymore. I feel like he's been traveling a lot and getting a lot of that exposure for his,
A ver.
his journey as Street Fighter 6.
Luke
Now,
versus
I think,
Yuri.
like, as of late, I've seen a lot
Wow.
more of his streams. He's been restreaming a lot of like SFL stuff, CPTs. I wouldn't be surprised if he's currently
A lot of
streaming
Juris.
right now. But on the other hand, Samij has been
A
doing
lot of Juris.
pretty damn good work on some of the local events, weekly events, excuse me, as Juri, coming in from a different game as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, where he's considered to have some of the best footsies for sure. And in this game, no different. In fact, interestingly, he said
How
that
many
he started
Juris?
his competitive journey in Street Fighter 4. He's been playing ever since in a bunch of different fighting games. He had great results earlier in Street Fighter 6, having made, I want to say it was like top 4 at CEO. Like, he did really,
Aquí
really
ya
well
hay
at
dos
CEO in Street Fighter
JPs.
6. And yeah, since then, oftentimes shows up big in online weeklies. He got 11
26 años contra 24 años.
World Warrior.
Ah.
So yeah, definitely doing good work. Whereas for Kami, you know, I looked up his recent Start GG placings, and there just like weren't as many as I have seen from him in the past. That said, here he is, and he's got something to say.
A ver qué quiere decir. ¿Quién? ¿Kami o Semish? Kami.
Luke still got them nervous.
Yeah, that was for sure. You know what's funny? Like every so often, I'll be able to tune into his stream, and he'll like boot up Street Fighter 5 and play Luke, and still have that same mentality of like, you know, I'm gonna bully the hell out of you with this character. I think he's just done a great job of like figuring out how the game of Street Fighter should be played. I think he's been playing around in like a lot of like high level circles for so long.
Oh, for sure.
Now, right? That it's just kind of like fully acclimated with him to figure out what
Very
needs to be
strong
done. So I think, you know, overall, despite not having as many tournament results over on Star GG, I think he's one of the players that it's like, you know, you see him in the top 16 spot, it's like, damn, he's still like so dangerous.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I don't mean to imply that he's not doing well, just that I haven't seen him play as often
Oh,
as
no
like
doubt,
sometimes
yeah.
I
Y aquí
do,
vamos.
but he's definitely very good.
Yuri
When it
versus
comes to
Luke.
Samij, how did you prep? I started playing again 2 weeks ago. Pretty good. When it comes to Kami, how did you prep? Watch anime and play rank.
That's true, yeah. I can definitely attest to that. I think Kami's, he makes sure he's updated with all his anime. He's playing a lot on stream. Wherever he's at. This man be traveling. What
A
is
little
that
back
carry?
off, yeah. That's good timing.
Ambos con el costume 3.
Escapes.
Kami con el costume 3 de Luke. Semish con el costume 3 de Yuri.
Yeah, that's gonna be pretty
Más
huge,
para
right?
allá.
Kami still maintaining his drive against a burnt out Samij. A little bit problematic. And, you know, you throw that out there,
Arloto
see
pa'
what
llama
they're gonna
Yuri.
try to counterpoke against it. You get that. There's there, drivers forward throw now. Getting closer to the corner. What was that? I think Samij might have been trying to jump out of the corner. Perhaps.
O pa' llama Yuri.
And now it's Kami who backs off a little bit.
Totally understandable. At least within the timing of him getting some drive gauge back to maybe cancel forward.
Oh, again. Looking for the same idea. It's on Samij to move forward. Kami is playing really, really well right now. What a wall.
Ah,
Oh,
level 2.
You okay?
I just.
Perfecto. Oh, qué drope combo.
The point is counter. Oh, that could have been so much more, but it's still going to be enough. He gets to drive
Lo
it
mata,
again.
lo mata.
Samij with a
Raúl
very
para
clutch activation
Semish.
and also very clutch opening to Tommy to seal the rest of that.
Interesting back and forth round. They both had situations that
Bueno.
they had control in. You can tell how confident Kami feels about his spacing. He's just in and out of the exact same range constantly.
A lot more active with the fireballs this time around as well. Giving Samij something to think about outside of just the normals, right? Instead of like watching him coming with the fireball. Not going to spend the level 3 here, and I do like that. We're checking the movement. See Samij, what his tendencies are on defense.
Good job of mixing it up defensively, at least so far. See if Kami can solve it. He's in.
Oh, you could have. I totally understand if you don't want to activate the first round.
Yeah, right. You could have killed with level 3, but didn't think it was worth it quite yet. Hold on, though. Maybe. Samij has a lot of work to do here.
Oh, that's huge.
Lo
Yes,
mata.
sir. All you gotta do is finish the rest of it. Kami on the board with so much potential damage incoming off of a single hit. Will it be via one of the low mediums, perhaps? But it's gonna be fireballs. That Samij just thinking about up until this point was not able to counter poke the drive rush. You saw the counter hit there from Kami.
He's
Not
full
willing to
Ryu
spend level
player.
3, by the way.
Yeah, it's true. Yet again. Confirms a little bit late on that.
Take the throw.
He gets to move in. He had seen an EXTP there before in a very similar situation. This time it doesn't come. Out of the corner. Okay. Time for offense? Yes. Oh!
Se gasta el level 3.
Pretty significant.
Recupera barra drive y le va a joder bastante la barra drive a Kami. Tácate.
It's a grab. He's already gonna kill.
Casi muerto.
The burn! There it is!
Round para Semish.
That was actually so
1-0 a favor de Semish contra Kami. Necesita ganar una vez más para eliminar a Kami del torneo.
Samij starting things off. The perfect carry is here. Forward. Yes, that is the Bonchan punch. Forward fierce, crouching heavy punch into the knuckle for the OP. Counter hit as well. Samij is going to be in big trouble. He's already in the corner. You are stuck.
So much more of an offensive style here from Kami. Look at it. It's just a complete 180 almost. Think about how often he was walking back and forth previously, how almost very neutral heavy he was. This time, that man's in there. This is more of what he was playing like in level 1. No, just like that. Right back in. So doing a really good job of mixing it up between neutral and pressure.
Parry, take the throw.
That could have been an uppercut. I think, if there was a parry on there.
No, punish counter back
I
throw.
imagine Kami wanted to really
Take
get
the
that perfect parry
throw.
to cause that burnout, but Samij. Oh, that is huge. Do it again. Dash up, level 2.
What?
No,
You could see
qué
him try to dash. You saw
dropeo.
the, little funky forward movement from him, just in air. Right?
Level 2 activado, Feng
I wonder
Shui
if level
activado.
1 actually could have been enough to kill.
Man. Samij is
No.
still very much in this.
The defense is there. Is it again?
These
No
timings!
throws from Kami. What defense?
Oh man,
No
that was
Back
so
throw.
Turned
Oh,
excellent defense
God.
into some
Back
pressure
throw.
yet again.
Kami, not wavering one bit. That could have been multiple frame traps that he could have run into. Willing to take the throw. None of it came. None of it came out from Samij.
There it is, DP.
Oof.
Just like that, it's a huge opportunity for Kami. Will he spend it this time?
You have to get that drive.
Take the throw. Pa, pa, pa,
One more
pa.
sequence is going to be pretty significant. Kami already has that corner pressure. Just a slight walk up. Crouching medium punch could already spell danger for Samij or the Fierce.
Just a nice little cage.
Oh my
boy.
god.
Uno
What
a
do you say
uno.
about that interaction? No, I'm going to say that sucks. That actually sucks. You see the hammer fist completely obliterate the anti-air attack from Juri directly above her because you can't really uppercut from that angle. That's the worst part about it.
Yeah, really, really nice jump by Kami. So, okay, so for Kami in that last game, it was much more about playing pressure. Some neutral moments, of course. Some great defense when he needed it. Ah, Samij has a better read this time.
Burnout.
Okay, here we go. Samij got his
Muerto. Match point nuevamente para Semish.
And that was more about his offense yet again. So really back and forth adaptations by these guys. Parry! denied the entrance by Samij.
Jesus, look at the meter you build off of that. Then you get the save jump as well. Baiting out the throw.
No lo mata.
Are we gonna go for the damage? Yes, we are.
Lo voy a dejar con poca vida.
Strength a little bit. OD uppercut Samij taking the big risk. That actually probably could have killed.
Yeah.
Oh boy, crouching medium.
Speaking
punch
of, he's
is
gonna
dead.
hope to build 3 on this.
He does.
Baseball,
But
baby!
it's
Don't even need it.
level 2.
Jordan. KO.
Nice work. That means that they are
Final,
both at
final round entre Semish y Kami.
legit thought
Solo
he-
uno se pasará a la ronda 2 y el otro se irá a casa.
Excellent work by Kami. Ooh,
No, qué dropeo del Flash Knuckle.
covers well.
Huge damn.
Perfect. Cállalo para
Interesting
acá.
conversion. Okay, I've only seen you know,
Take
I've
the
only
throw.
Alright, on Samij.
seen-
Parry, this is
Perfect
maybe the
parry
beginning
y
of
back throw.
Oh, he'd love to get a
Take
front.
the throw. Take the
He
throw.
might. Kami's playing great D yet again.
Take the
He's
throw.
got level 3. He's still
Se
very
viene el
dangerous.
CA.
Samij,
Se viene el
he's going for
CA.
a hit right now. He can seal it already.
Take the throw.
The defense from Kami, key. This whole time it's been key. Look at the man just hanging
He's
up.
not pressing a single button. This guy Kami is on a different
the
level of
throw.
defense. His drive gauge is back. And it's Samij.
That was coast to coast.
Lo mató.
Kami survives. What
Y
defense?
Kami
That
elimina
man helped
Semish
walk from
2
coast to
a
coast
1.
And still found the end, the W to move on.
Jesus. That is East Coast if I ever seen it. That is the epitome of playing the turtle defense to a T. Kami, phenomenal defense. Samij, a little stubborn in his ways on offense, but to be fair, like who could blame him? That's so difficult. You've layered so many throws prior to that. It's like, man, this guy's got to press a button, right? He even delayed some of his offensive pressure to make it feel like a throw was coming. But Kami
Así que
did it right. He
Semish
was willing
y
to take that
Adriani
all
están
day
fuera del
if
torneo.
needed.
That's quite some discipline.
Vienen los dos últimos matches de la ronda 1 de Losers,
Great
que
showcases for both.
incluyen a Punk y a Idom, y tras eso vamos a decidir quiénes pasan al primer match para decir quién pasa al top 8 Losers.
Yeah, like, could he make
Pero
it
se
on
viene
back?
corte de 5 minutos,
And ultimately
así que
no.
nos veríamos en 5 minutos.
Again, a lot of really interesting back and forth play. Some counter adaptations from both.
A ver cómo va
chose
lo
to go
demás.
more offense. Here was the example of
Aquí
Kami doing that
bien.
in Stars where he really broke out
Y el
with that.
otro
Then we saw
también
Samij
bien.
try the same, but man, it was just denied by Kami and his excellent defense. Yeah, that little error there, unfortunately, but it ends up working out for him.
A little bit of a brain fart on that one, because
Pa,
you have
pero
access
Kami
to
estuvo a
both
punto de
skills.
ser eliminado, se salvó por un
Two is
pelito.
guaranteed, but level 1 is like, yeah, you know, maybe. I will say this though, man. These final moments of offensive
look
pressure
at this.
from Samij, it's like
Dude.
how
Se salvó el Kami de ser eliminado por ese error que cometió Semish.
But that replay, as it should, is about blocking. Because that is why he ended up taking that match in that last round. It was about blocking. It was excellent defense by Kami that puts him through, or they'll play against Psycho in the next round.
it's gonna be insane, man. Watching what's about to come here and the rest of the losers side. Man, Punk versus Max Sama.
Punk contra Pac y Mando contra
versus
Idom.
Idom. Are you kidding me right now? This is gonna be one for the books for sure. But before we get into all that, we gotta talk about a little bit before we get into our break with the Bucklers Boot Camp that we've been talking about for majority of the season. If you guys want to break a sweat from the game, actually be sure to register for the boot camp with the QR code down below. With Bucklers Boot Camp, it is a free game link, mobile-friendly website with all the features to support your enjoyment of Street Fighter 6, as you guys have been doing these last couple of months. You can check out player data on there, see what your friends are doing, all the clubs that you may or may not want to join, ranking information, all at the ease of your fingertips. You can also find other information on the characters, as well as the in-game events that are coming out, as well as like all the big collaborations. There's plenty of rewards to go through, and the updates that are coming up for this lifespan of Street Fighter 6. If you guys want to check it out, be sure to scan it down below for Bucklers Boot Camp to make the most out of your Street Fighter journey.
Well, Street Fighter League, US and Japan, have both crowned their champions. Congratulations in the US SFL to Team Spoiler Redacted, and in Japan to Team
Fab.
Spoiler Redacted. Street Fighter League EU, however, continues with Week 10 next week as they get closer to crowning their champions. Ultimately, next month, they'll all gather in Hollywood, California for the title of World Champions that will happen at Capcom Cup next month.
Así que nos vemos en 5 minutos.
We're only like a couple of weeks away before we see the playoffs and that grand final as well. Big shout out to the talent over there. Obviously, Logan Sama hosting it, F-Word, as well as Jammers each and every time with really great insight and also entertainment. These guys are nuts. Really, really great job over to the folks across the pond. But also, if you guys have been following along, we've had Mask Away be a huge part of our Capcom Pro Tour as of late with Storm Collectibles. They brought a classic and iconic set of gaming characters back to life with their ever so high quality collectible action figures. You can see it down on the right side, stormco.com.hk. If you scan the QR code above you, I almost said below, there's a ton of collectibles to go through. And it's not even just for the most recent characters in their designs of Street Fighter 6. Obviously, you see Luke and Ryu, but you also have this was very interesting, the Ultra Street Fighter 2 versions of Fei Long and Blanca. But what's really cool about that is you see on the top right of this graphic of the characters, you have Violet Ken being showcased for the very, very first time in official lore from the Capcom side. And that character was debuted in Ultra Street Fighter 2, so I do like that. We have a big roster of characters with their different outfits. You have from 2 all the way to 6 in a very wide variety of outfits. I think it's really cool of them. So again, check it out, stormco.com.hk, or scan the QR code on the top right. Ladies and gentlemen, when it comes down to it, you don't want to miss what's about to transpire in the loser's side. We have 2 heavy hitters in peril, and it's going to be pretty interesting. Don't miss it. Going to be pretty damn good. Get some snacks, get some hydration. I definitely need it. We'll see you after this break.
You're really making all of this by hand.
Oh yeah, the avocados are hand mashed, the chips are hand tossed, and everything is made fresh.
You make it fresh every day.
Yes, every day. The Chipotle way is we make it fresh every day.
Sounds delicious.
じゃあどうするんですかをじゃあもう一個考えていきます。ちょっと面白いあれがあるんですけど、通常時ってガードするとマイナスじゃないですか。要するにドライブゲージが減るんで良くないんですよってなるんだけど、バーワーとしてはむしろ逆で、通常時ガードするともうゲージがもらえるんです。そうですよね。だから技をガードするっていうのはバーワーとしてお得なんですよ。めちゃめちゃお得。だから俺は結構そろそろ投げてくるなと思ったらボタンを押す。そうそうそう。そうすると相手は打撃と投げを2択なんだけど、投げを食らわないとこっち当然ない。で打撃を打ち続けるとこっちもこうモリモリゲージがもらえるから、そういうのもありなのかな。モダン視点の話にちょっとここはさせていただくと、SA があるときは守れる。そうだよね。これやこれすぐ出せますから、モダンだったら。じゃあないときどうするか、チームなんだけど、
Who does the goat? Sigamos.
これでもう逆に確かね、超大ダメージ取れるんで。
Pudo. Ok, otra entrevista.
We are here
Sí.
with the Alpha, the leader of the Alpha Academy. Dug off. What's going on, bro? How you doing, bro? Hey, man, I used to see you in that green. What we got going on right there? I was looking pretty clean, bro.
Yeah, it's a new jersey. I got online. Y'all can get into it if you go on the 5 website. Y'all can also buy one of these like I did, you know, so y'all should cop the fly quest merch. I know it's looking nice, right? So
it's definitely looking clean.
Go get that.
It's looking crispy. I might have to cop one of those, bro. So now seeing where it's come to, bro, like now you really probably couldn't imagine like the fighting game community becoming what it is now. Like we just seen Evo 7,000 plus interest, bro. Are you surprised at how big everything is now?
It's definitely surprising from watching as a kid all the time, and you just see, even though I wasn't going to tournaments, I understood how they weren't that big.
Yeah.
You know,
Y hablando de Punk, es el siguiente ahora en match, en losers, y está jodido ahora. Si pierde ahora este match, se va para la casa. Y ya avisó que él lo iba a ir al LCQ.
I just think that Capcom did a great job at marketing this game, and
bro, the launch was so fire, though.
Yeah, it just was very good from getting people like Lil Wayne and stuff like that. It just, I feel like it helps everything out, and they just did a really good job on market. I didn't think it would be like it is now. 7,000 people at Evo is crazy. Is crazy.
All right, so what do you think about 6? I gotta ask you from like Street Fighter, the Street Fighter nerd in me, bro. Gotta ask you from a technical standpoint.
It just has a lot of stuff you gotta be ready for at all times.
Number one.
Ready to whip, punish, check a drive rush, check a drive impact, DP, or anti-air,
drive rush.
You just get back in the neutral whenever you want. If I don't check
Tiger Acquire. Eliminator.
Yeah, I think the game is way more fun than Street Fighter 5 was.
Me too.
I feel like just even for spectators, it's just you watch the game and you're just excited about the smallest thing. Someone react to the drive impact and the screen froze, so you already hype. You know what's going to happen.
So $1 million for first place at Capcom Cup. If you were to win $1 million, what are you doing with it?
Me, I just want to be able to give my family a house. Is like the big thing. Where I like the $1 million this year. It can give them something. They like living. I feel like I live okay. Well, you know, it's still hard for me to take them out of where they live at. So,
it's like, I feel like that's like a common thing, kind of where we come from. Like a survivor type of, you know, you've heard that before? Yeah. I think it's
like
common
you
where we
just
come
want to help the people that if you didn't have them, you just wouldn't even be living, or you wouldn't grew up the way you grew up. So, for me, just being able to give my family a house is probably the thing that I would like to do the most.
Bro, honestly, you're a real ass dude, bro. Like,
no puede ser.
Like the stuff that you get emotional about at this point, man, I just gotta say,
Phenom.
like on some man-to-man stuff. I know we even be having our stuff trash talking on stuff like that and going back and forth. Honestly, even like man-to-man, I love you, bro, and respect you.
I
appreciate that, bro.
Seriously, man. This has been the Alpha, the one and only Punk the God, and we have more CPT.
Pink da God. O Punk da God.
Only Rob TV can really get that type
Y aquí vamos, Punk versus Maxama.
heavy conversation.
Esto va a ser Kami versus Marissa.
The passion and the pressure both coming into these big events. You know, we talked about this one being one of the bigger events that we've had in the CPT. Over 600 players and only one moving on. And we had seen Punk in a bunch of different trials and tribulations throughout weekly tournaments, international events. But this is the one that I feel matters the most for players like him, as right now he is currently on the loser's side. My name is Vicious here with Ultra David. We've been bringing you along this journey, but just as a refresher, let's take a look at the bracket and what we have coming up next.
After what happened in Evo 2017.
Punk versus Oni AGN.
Punk versus Maxama.
NY Mando versus Xset Idom. Those are our remaining round 1 losers side matches. And yeah, the names Punk and Idom being in round 1 losers of top 16, it's not something you hear very often. But that's where they are. Punk having been sent down by Psycho, somebody who he knows well, of course, former roommates. And now it's up to him to move on or to Maxama to move on. We will see which one gets the job done. That's what we're
Y aquí vamos, Punk versus Maxama, 25 años contra 24 años. Marissa versus Kami.
And I feel like he gets top 3 or wins like every online tournament. Like, he's just always up there.
Marissa time.
Who watches regular Super 6 big online tournament content, and like I got to imagine a lot of people watching now are. You see him all the time. He's always up there. And sometimes it's with characters that you expect. Kami, for example, is down there at the bottom left. That's certainly the one to look for. But sometimes it's like his chat will be like, "Hey, play Honda," and he like,
okay, I'll do it.
He does it.
Yeah, and he does it. He does it well.
Goes really far.
I mean, like, it's only going to be to his benefit no matter who he chooses. But this is going to be a very interesting one, right? Maxama. I didn't really get to see a lot of like the big information coming in from him from Star GG. But what I did see is that he's a pretty avid competitor in a multitude of different fighting games as well. Like, he's just won. He claims to have won back-to-back tournaments for a Grand Blue of some sort. So I will say this: I think he's been very competent in that style of play, because I feel like that particular game that he's excelled at is very similar to Street Fighter in terms of the pacing of it all. So I'm actually very, very curious to see what he's going to deliver as Marissa. So very excited to see also just that name in general keep popping up even more so now, because I haven't been able to see that in previous weekly events. Honestly, it's my first time really being able to see Maxama.
It's the same for me. Yeah, I tried to do some research in terms of like how did he do in World Warrior, and I didn't see any entrances in World Warrior, for example, for the region. So yeah, I mean we'll see how it goes. He lost to Merculo, that's why he's down here, but he beat Sonic Soul and made it past Sami as well to get into the situation. Marissa is his choice, and for Kami. Punk.
What a color sequence! That's
gorgeous.
Is that?
That's the new outfit, right? Or is that the old outfit?
Is that like
old
a
outfit.
dark green, or is that a black, or is that a dark blue? I'm not going to get into that conversation.
Oh, no.
But I'm not trying to do that. I promise you, I'm not trying. It looks really great. It looks really great. It looks really
beautiful white dress.
Shut up, David. Maxama versus Punk. Already off to a great side. Did get the punish counter on the Superman punch.
Oof, that Marissa.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great spot for Maxama. Already in a situation
Take the throw.
2 hits is for the kill. Punk knows that.
No way.
Oh, that was
right
on the money too. At the
Take the throw.
This is where it gets kind of dicey, right? Marissa can't
Take
really
the
do a lot
throw.
against some of these throws, especially in the current state. Number 1, the Gladius punch, trying to maybe absorb a hit on the way out. The Punk, he assessed the risk.
Got the spike.
He was like 3/4 of the screen away.
What a back movement by Punk. What a whiff punish by Punk. That was really good.
Muerta. Round para el señor Punk contra el señor Maxama. Y tras eso viene Idom. Idom contra Mando.
Yeah, that's it. I really like how Maxama got Punk into the corner in the first place. Had some good pressure too. Keeping things tight here.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Put a bit of a delay on the medium.
Oh,
that's huge. Look at the damage without any bar being spent. Safe jump as well. Keeps the pressure up. And you know what's really interesting? Yeah, Punk hasn't really been moving just yet. Even when he chooses,
that was sick.
It was only a matter of time.
Come on.
I was layering it to see whether or not Maxama would throw out the unfold, because it was only a matter of time. Punk hasn't really chosen movement as a defensive decision as often.
Seriously, great pressure, right? Maxama. Oh, no.
Even bigger damage. Are you going to spend it? You have to, right?
He's going to, yeah.
Se viene, level 3.
Corner, you do 60%. You still got half your drive gauge.
Drive rush forward to bait, or do you actually stick it out with the meaty? Drive rush forward. Let me see it. The meaty choice.
What a jump!
This is
Patience, then jump, and completely
Book.
reverse it now. positioning as Punk, if he wants, can pressure.
Oh, so much smarter this time. He actually just walked out up until that point where it was a really awkward exchange. Punk manages to find himself near the corner again.
Back throw.
Maybe for Punk, who feels to me a little more timid than I usually see.
Tiene full recursos el Punk.
He's maybe
Tiene level 3
Max Sama to
listo.
make a bad choice, but that just really hasn't happened. There hasn't even been like an unsafe medium for a second. Max Sama's playing really well.
Bueno.
Coming in for that drive rush rally. It's looking a little bit like Itabashi. Oh, the OD? No way.
Pa!
Not enough.
Sweat
And
trim.
he is burned. Punk backs off to avoid his own burnout.
No, he tried to play footsie, the low medium kick. No punish.
Back throw.
Try no finisher.
Right.
Huh.
No bait.
Great defense by Max Sama. Again. Oh, is that enough? Is that going to cut it?
Lo mata. Lo mata, lo mata. S.A.M.
You're dead.
S.A.M.
It is enough. The extra life of Marissa was
1-0 para
save
Punk.
Max Sama. So Punk, game 1.
This is a good look here, man. Max Sama has been so good with his offense thus far.
Yeah.
He's really holding Punk in place. It hasn't really dawned on him that these side switches are the only times when he's really taking damage. And it's not even like by a lot of like errors, right? He hasn't
Uy,
made
el daño.
big
Mira
errors,
ese
I think,
daño.
in my opinion.
Oh, he's at
Mira ese daño por hacer un mal DP.
Great stuff overall. And really good awareness.
Ahí está. Si lo hubiera bloqueado ahí.
I have really liked it.
Damn.
Burnout, anything's gonna
Oh. Como un tanque. Como un tanque fue eso.
Not at all taking a bait.
Como un tanque que te viene a atropellar.
Gets clipped. Great conversion as well, and I love the use of armor again. Perfect parry. Mostly going to attack the drive gauge and get that positioning. Man, that was mid-air as well. That's so difficult. I think he might have mixed himself up. Max
Yeah.
didn't know what side it was going to be on.
Well, I don't know if it was strictly necessary, but there you go. It's getting a little weird out there.
A little bit. You can see a little bit of the frustrations. Like Punks is like, I don't even know who you are. Like, why are you making me play to this degree? You have been so
Match
sturdy
point para el
and
señor
Max
Punk a punto de eliminar a Max Sama. ¿Podrá Max Sama empatar el marcador o Punk se lo llevará 2-0?
Sometimes you gotta boost your own confidence by any means necessary, even if it's at the expense of your opponent.
Take the throw.
Ah, you saw him moving.
Vaya la voz.
Does get clipped. He's on waves.
La armor con el overhead.
Here's Punk. Gonna try to dump it all. Yes.
Oh, yes.
¿Lo mata?
This is good. Right, a lot of damage. It means he's probably a mix up away from
No,
getting
creo que no lo mata. Lo va a dejar con un píxel de vida.
tossed in the corner here.
Sí, píxel de vida.
Almost good night. So he doesn't even try to pressure.
Yeah, he's big chilling. Look at the amount of drive
Okay.
gauge you get
Oh,
back.
oh,
¡Oh! ¡Se viene!
One hit away from death.
¡No!
Maybe
¡Ese
with the-
drop!
Could have been an intentional drop.
Could be.
to get that
¡Ese
lead.
drop!
Punk is not
Pero
easily
vaya
gonna give
drop.
up this
Bueno.
positioning right
This
here.
is death for Punk, by the way. If you, oh my
Oh,
God!
yeah. No, totally. If Max Sama gets the next hit,
Oh my god.
he's hoping to convince Punk to move away, to jump, to do something ill-advised. Nothing like that came. So Max Sama backs off. Plenty of time on the clock to get a hit.
Oh my God!
Big jumps. That
Nada.
is gonna
He's
do it.
dead.
And in the end,
Y Punk
is the one
elimina a
who takes
Max
it. I feel
Sama
like Max Sama played
2-0
great,
y se pasa la ronda 2 de losers.
Did what he needed to do when he needed to do it, and he moved forward. 2-0.
Yeah, there was already quite the mental sack being built up. I don't blame him for not being able to sense when the drive impact was coming. It was a
Punk
little bit
tendrá que
further away
pelear
from where
ahora
he
con el
anticipated.
que perdió el segundo
But
match.
having that critical art still on deck, that was actually quite gutsy for Punk. It was actually a really, really big risk for him to take and throw out that drive impact because again, Marisa, despite not having that much life left, still seeing that critical art down below could easily diminish the rest of Cammy's life gauge. But just looking at the way it's been, I feel like it's been very much
2-0. Ahora vamos con el último match de la ronda 1 de losers. Idom contra Mando.
Under pressure. And also getting the side switches where he was actually able to excel. But man, kudos to Max Sama. This guy.
Totally. I really
like
liked what we saw right there. Even though it wasn't in the W, I'm hoping to see more of the player
For
because I
real.
thought that was really good.
This kid is. Listen, he's a full grown man.
Yeah.
But he's younger than me. So this kid is phenomenal. I'm not gonna lie, man. The way that he was navigating with Marisa in a very interesting matchup too. He is, I don't know, there's a lot of potential there just watching the way he was
Ahí
playing. I was very
está.
impressed.
Pong
Saga,
tendrá que pelear
seeing
contra
a little bit more often.
SpaceBoy.
People that moves on
Luke
face off
versus
against
Kami.
SpaceBoy.
Y ahora viene Mando contra Idom.
And we'll move on down to the final
Último
round
match
of
de top 16, ronda 1
matches.
losers.
It's gonna be NY Mando
Mando
versus
contra
Next Set
Idom.
Mando down here because he lost to simple tricks. He beat players including
Que va.
Fatality and
Zangief.
Strife in
Uf.
this position. Idom is down here because he lost to Paladin, who
Grappler
is
match.
sitting pretty in top 8 winners side.
Uf.
And then
Grappler
had to
match.
beat NYC Furby, and then after that had to beat Diaphone. So he's had a pretty tough set of matches for sure. You know, good stuff by him. As you all know, former Capcom Cup champ.
Who, this guy?
This guy, he was 4th in World Warrior. He was 6th in points before that. And for NY Mando, I didn't see that there were any entrances in World Warrior. Not a lot of big results that I could see, at least on StarGG. StarGG doesn't tell the whole story, of course, but tried to do a little bit of research and didn't see too much there. So I am very curious about what we're going to see. But I can tell you that it is going to be Zangief. I can also tell you this fact about himself. Up until 6 months ago, I was primarily an MMO player.
Interesting.
6 months. So
And
good.
he's already put it together with a
Good work,
character like Zangief. Like, again, we've talked
Good
about metas, we've talked about tier lists a bunch of times over. One thing is consistent that everybody agrees on.
GIF versus Manon. El señor Idom usando el Costume 2 de Manon y el señor Mando usando el Costume 3 de GIF.
So, I'm actually kind of curious to see what it is about this character and also what it is about Mondo that has him here on the top 16. But if Idom thus far, this is kind of a tall order though. You're facing off against a Capcom Cup champion.
Right.
Ooh, that was a setup for a grab if I ever seen it.
You're right, Idom was not going to see that happen. Into, tried to confirm, no big deal. Idom is playing a very solid ground game at the moment.
Little sidebar here, David.
A GIF player.
I still can't believe you're not playing this game.
Which one?
A la pared.
I don't feel like
No.
he's for me, but thank you. I mean, historically he was my boy. I don't know if this is my guy. At this
I
point.
know. You switched off to Honda. Anyways, as we resume.
You know, Mondo, his quote was, "I'm nervous. I don't participate in these events much." So I hope for his sake that we'll see somebody who has tightened it up. But right now it is Idom who really has control.
That's so tricky.
A la pared.
Even afterwards, Idom doesn't commit to the
Está muerto. He's dead. 1-0 para Idom.
Absolutely, Idom's doing it perfect.
Yeah, Idom just again very, very strong control. He reacted well. I think you're right about the forward medium kick. Probably intended that as a grab setup by Mando. Idom shut it down, and he shut it down pretty much all over the place. So for Mando, what is the change? Ooh.
It's very interesting interaction too. I think, you know, we talked about this earlier in anticipation for Idom. Mono doesn't necessarily have the strongest fixes in the tradition right now. Like, I think overall it's been very hard for her to kind of like close the gap. She has like some really like far-reaching single strikes, sure, but that can also get blown up pretty significantly.
Among the most DIable buttons.
Right. But one thing is for certain, her jump arc is so annoying. In a great way. Jump roundhouse really reduces her arc to kind of close the gappings, but it hasn't really been the case for Idom. He hasn't really had to rely on anything like that thus far. It's been pure footsies.
Yeah, he jumped twice and got anti-aired, but he doesn't even need that, I think. He's back mid-screen. Playing it safely, playing it cautiously, maybe moving a little bit too far.
You think so?
I would say he's got a pixel of health advantage. Okay, there it is.
¿Lo mata? Lo mata. Match point para el señor Idom. A punto de eliminar a Mando del torneo del CPT.
Ooh, defense by Idom. Here it is.
Finish.
The sweep is there. It's also very, very deceptive. That thing is mad fast.
He's looking a little bit more comfortable to me, is Mando.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, he's at least moving around a little bit more.
A la pared.
It's not exclusively about Idom having.
He's dead?
Maybe, Maybe.
He's dead.
I don't know if it's enough damage against the big
Okay.
No. Ahora sí. 2-0 rápido para Idom, eliminando a Mando del torneo.
I built super heavy samurai. I opened the 1,000-year door. I conjured spells to fight off my foes. He is that?
I don't know any of those references.
I don't know either. I thought they were cool though, and he is in top 16, top 12 now is what he is qualified into. So
now I'm gonna look at
one more round to go for these players, as you see up on the screen. Mando, man, 6 months? You're already in top 16 of Street Fighter 6 CPT? That's sick.
That's a lot better than most people who've been playing for
Ahora vamos con el primer match de la ronda 2 losers para decidir quién se clasifica por losers. Alex Smith contra Fluxwave se viene ahora.
Totally understandable, but we would love to see that potential. Man, these last two players, Maxima and Mondo, actually very, very promising future for both of these cats, seeing the way they are.
Bajaré un poquito la voz en caso que no me escuchen.
Alex Smith versus Flux Waves is what's coming up next. Also, it's going to be pretty important considering this is round 2 of the loser's side. 39 to 30.
Yeah, nice.
Y aquí vamos.
I'm not going to lie to you. I still feel like, man, I remember that interaction with Flux Waves from him landing to LA. Really nervous cat, hasn't really been to LA prior to that, but he's really grown into a very, very prominent.
Fluxwave contra Alex Smith. JP contra Juri.
Couple of encounters with him in like the beta.
Okay.
This guy is mad good. He's just the complete package, man. He is like old school as hell, and he's really, really dope. So it's really cool to see like the I guess the two different generations come out of the game.
Yeah. I mean, he lost to Paladin, who we saw earlier. That's why he's down here in this position. Paladin making it into top 8 winners side. So now it's on Alex Smith. Man, it feels bad to make it into top 16 winners and then to lose twice. That is a tough feeling. So for his sake, you're hoping that that's not going to happen. However, Fluxwaves, who was sent down earlier, I'm checking my notes, having lost to Alex Smith.
Did I write that down?
Which means that it is a runback.
I didn't get to write that down right at the time. I see. That's actually pretty.
It is a runback. Yes,
pretty wild. I was just about to ask that. I feel like there was a little bit of like a couple of uncomfortable situations for Alex Smith running into the Ryu, and like I know for sure he's had like that practice early on. But to be fair, like Paladin has just been thinking outside of the box with his character. It's so hard to even adapt to it. Even as commentators, we were thinking to ourselves like, man, Paladin has really shown off different looks on offense as well as defense for Ryu. So it was kind of like a tough draw, I feel like, for Alex Smith. There's nobody who's going to be able to replicate that no matter how hard you practice.
I understand,
But now you're going into a character that's like a dime a dozen as well. Going into JP, as strong as he is, there's at least a lot more data that you could figure out in terms of identifying sequences and how to defend or play offense against it, right?
Back to the range that Fluxwave wants. Okay.
Things have been coming up Flux Waves, I feel like, when it comes to some of these shadows hitting, right? It happened earlier against
It can be a volatile matchup for
Punish counter throw. Esto parece un poquito GG para el primer round de Fluxwave. Sí, round para el señor Fluxwaves. Que abrir ese marcador 1-0.
But that is part of the potential downfall. Keeping his eye on her forward movement, her corner pressure.
But who expects after an overhead landing? Who expects that violence? This is the sequence that Alex wants. We talked about the corner pressure. Dash up play again. One more time if you want to. But he's going to play it safe. Trusting intuition on that one.
Quite an answer.
What the?
Uy, final round. Despertó Alex Smith. Oh no, no de nuevo. You enjoy this.
Enough level 2 as well. Attack on the drive gauge. You could probably set it up for it, but yeah, there it is. Do it again.
Doble.
Ooh, that could have been a big punish counter for a possible burnout with Flux Waves. Get a check.
El stomp. Lo mata. Lo mata. Lo mata. Lo mata. He's dead.
¡No!
Dropeó el combo. ¿Cómo puedes hacer eso? Uff. What a big drop ahí. Si hubiera sido con low HP, eso le hubiera costado todo.
I'm glad it didn't turn out the way it did. You actually had just one more dab away before taking it down. Drive back into the front cage, does have the first game. Drive rush forward, punch medium, punch with the big counter hit opener to check Alex. I'd imagine Alex tried to preemptively stop that. He sees green, he's trying to press his button. We get that. Now in this stage,
Go.
Archer plus
Go, Sap.
start a maneuver.
Love that jump timing.
Oh,
Ooh, plenty of time.
Qué
to react to
buena.
it. A very expensive way to do it though, the Flux Waves. Sets up a departure, double time, dash up twice.
That is sick.
number one.
But it sets up nicely forward.
Muerta,
Despite
GG.
either way, I don't know
Match
if that
point
was
para
a
Flux
total
Waves.
wedge chip though.
Un
Damn,
round más
that was
de
a lot.
clasificarse al top 8 loser side.
So match point now for Flux Waves. First one to set it out.
It's blocked. Still gets the pursuit afterwards. Through. Response to fire by Flux Waves. What?
Whoa, that was sick. Oh, that's
That
a punish.
is a little overzealous going in for a second
What a
time.
reset. Oh, man.
Departure.
Y con punish counter fue eso.
That's fair. Flux Waves, he hasn't really shown off that card. None of the JPs have.
Go.
Oof.
Ram.
Has had big corner pressure. Oh, good. You got a perfect with that.
Feng Shui Shine.
Wow.
Y... Uy, joder los drops ahí. You enjoy this.
Lot to deal with.
Y se comió el bajo.
Tough spot. Back to mid-range. It was not really the right timing. This allows Alex Smith to get back in.
That's tricky. I love the invasive maneuvers, but not close enough. No way does he whiff that. Flux
Lo
Wave
mata.
after that counter poke to, I think it was a punish counter. It was just too far for the rest of the combo to hit. That's mad unfortunate. Great for Alex Smith.
Yeah.
There we go, a little bit earlier on the drive rush, crouching medium punch. Checking Flux Waves on his defensive decisions. Oh, jump out of there!
Back, though. It is a pretty natural reaction to hold up back. But, man, it's... Oh, no.
You know what that was. Still with the pickup?
Just getting chip while he can. And getting a lot of chip. It's a bit about a quarter life, maybe a third life in chip.
Oh, and he gets a full-on punish as well. Level 2, you're going to be doing a lot of this damage. Possibly aside, no, we're just going to go purely for the mix! It's the mix at the end! Flux Waves throwing in the overhead.
Y Flux Waves el primer clasificado por top 8 losers, eliminando a Alex Smith
Flux Waves
2-0.
one of the legends, Alex Smith.
Again, that was a run back, as you mentioned earlier. So Flux Waves lost to Alex earlier. This time sends Alex out of the tournament. I really am always impressed watching Flux Waves play. I feel like he's got one of the most like grounded, stoic JPs. Like I just feel like he's got like a really good sense of when to stand his ground. I mean, we're looking at highlights that are him moving forward because that's when you find the big hits. But a lot of the time it's him doing that, walking, patient, on reaction, brings out this. That's a perfect example of how Flux Waves does play great.
Así que ahora se viene el último corte de 5 minutos y vamos con los últimos 3 matches que faltan.
There's got to be like some sort of data prior to that, which is what led to him maybe playing this way. I haven't really been able to check all the other replays of him playing, but like playstyle wise, I'd imagine there was a lot of activity coming in from like Alex Smith in the earlier sequences where he decided, you know what, I'm going to play a little bit more reactive in these next couple of games. But it paid off pretty damn well. 2-0, Flux Waves making sure that binder stays intact and getting all the notes in, adding a couple of pages. But now he gets to chill until tomorrow. Big congratulations. We have 3 more remaining players to get into top 8. We're not going to do it quite just yet, but man, look at this lineup. Psycho versus Kami, SpaceBoy versus Punk, Ramos versus Idom. Whew! That's...
Buah, Psycho, Kami, SpaceBoy, Pong, Ramos, Idom. Uff.
For a while now, part of the Bucklers boot camp. A lot of the players that I've seen and follow along my timeline, they've been starting to get behind it as well. We're
Psycho.
seeing Pocket's characters kind of show up out of nowhere, and some that aren't even like available in Street Fighter 6. Like I've seen personally Super Yen open up a Balrog and M Bison. It's pretty neat that they have a lot of hidden characters still in this game.
Look at the Ryu. That's a good Ryu.
If you want to take a break from the game, be sure to head over to Buckler's Bootcamp where you can play Pockets. It's a mini game in which you develop your character by training these cute dot characters. The service is based on the motto praise and develop, which is the intention of Buckler's president. I don't know who that is quite yet, but feel free to register as a member and get involved with all the other players that have been playing this little game. A very, very cute mini game.
Bueno, en Paladin.
And you can give him food. One of the things he needs. He needs food. But so does everybody else.
Don't we all?
Everybody needs food, in fact. Thanks very much, Chipotle, for joining hands with Capcom to during this first year of Street Fighter 6. For a limited time only, the carne asada is right there. Look at that. Come on. Look at that. Tender cuts of steak with lime, cilantro, and signature spices. Come on. I'm a Sofritos boy. I've been telling you that. You guys know that. Jeremy, carne asada boy?
While it's up, yeah.
Yeah.
Why not? It's an upgraded steak.
That's
That's literally what it is. It's an
I'll take
upgraded
one
steak.
upgraded steak, please.
Yeah, man.
Carne asada back on the grill for a limited time. Again, thanks so much to Chipotle. So, we're going to take another break.
El último corte, así que nos vemos en un ratito.
Decide who will get into top 8. Again, those matches include Psycho versus Kami, and then SpaceBoy versus Punk, and Ramos versus Idom. The question is whether Idom makes it, Punk makes it. Man, can you imagine if
whatever you're gonna say?
If top
I
8 does
cannot.
not include Idom or Punk, it's a possibility. We'll see if that happens. Coming right back.
Chipotle's carne asada is back. It's our most tender cuts of steak, grilled and seasoned with cumin, oregano, and coriander. Finished with fresh lime and hand-chopped cilantro. Carne asada. This is our best steak ever.
Let's get this mission started.
We got more Street Fighter League. I know you can smell the tension in the air. We back in the field, back. We ready, it's time. Ooh, punish counter.
Season after season, it's only gotten better.
Big bird, it's What an upset! What an upset! With all your heart! Nobody saw this happening. I dare you to find me better Street Fighter.
Unprecedented and unpredictable. It only gets better.
All or nothing! Straight to the goal!
This is a different Chris CCH. I don't know who this young man is.
My man looks so happy.
Momentum, his speed in general, so much.
because we have one of my former training partners for years, actually, and one of the, I would say to some people, hidden gems of the NA fighting game community, none other than SpaceBoy. What's up with you, man?
Hey, how you guys doing? Happy to be here on No Neutral, since I play No Neutral
Ok,
usually.
estamos de vuelta. Este es el último corte que hay.
Listen, despite what myself and many others have said in the past, you definitely play some neutral, even though you have a bit more of an explosive, aggressive, and sometimes a little risky style. How has your approach been with Street Fighter 6 so far? You're playing Luke right now in Street Fighter 6. You picked up Luke at the end of Street Fighter 5. Is the game like really different for you? Do you have a different approach, and how has that been playing this game?
I think the most difficult thing about 6 is it's very much a player game, so Street Fighter 5 was very static. Once you learn the matchup, sure, there's maybe, let's just say like a Mental style birdie or a Magneto style birdie, but 6 is a very player-to-player game, so I haven't been studying matchups as much as I've just been watching as much as I can and playing as much as I can. The game's really fun, despite what's going on. Like, I don't really like dry rush. I love dry rushing. I don't like dealing with it, but I just feel that right now I don't want to have any definite training regimen since I don't really understand the game.
Okay, and in these interviews too, man, I like to learn something like personal about the people too. So I know that you're in school and everything. Let the people know like what's going on with that and what are you even in school for?
I'm in school for IT. I graduate this May. I barely passed. I've been playing so much. I've just been busy in general. But hey, passing, C's get degrees, and I've been playing pretty good this season. So I got to have the best of both worlds in that sense. I got to play really good season 1 of Street Fighter 6, and I'm still on set to get my degree. I will be entering the workforce. I don't want to be crashing in my parents' home, so it's kind of tough. I don't know if I'm gonna take a year off just to play some more, or if I'm just gonna save up and get my own place and then play. But I will be playing a lot of Street Fighter.
Hey, listen, life comes at you fast. You don't know. You might win this weekend, and suddenly you find yourself with $1 million sitting in your lap. And your
Ahora viene Psycho contra Kami.
That graduation date might start looking way off. So don't count yourself out on that front.
SpaceBoy, I just want to say thanks for all of the years of training that we put in throughout Street Fighter 5 and everything, and I'm glad to see you still cooking people up in Street Fighter 6, bro. One of the most genuine and solid dudes in the NAFGC, and good luck to you in NA East, bro.
Well, SpaceBoy
Seguimos.
still has the chance to make top 8 and then to get in the Capcom Cup.
Bueno.
But so do the remaining competitors that we have here as we are in our last 3 matches of the top
Bueno,
16.
Kami versus Psycho.
Canada East, Ultra David, Vicious back with you. We're going to be heading in to
Uf,
Psycho versus
Luke.
Kami at first.
Luke versus Kim.
Man, you're gonna hit me with the Kami? It's Kami, baby. Psycho
Luego
versus
SpaceBoy
Kami.
Pong, que va a ser Kami versus Luke, y por último Ramos, Idom. Moderna Chun versus Manoon.
We've seen this very high level defense. It's already being praised all across Twitter from Kami. Now, we gotta preface this with Psycho and Kimberly, right? We talked about the different layers of offense that Kimberly has inherently. I think it's really neat to see anything coming off the spray can, anything in the corner. But we didn't really get to see that from Psycho in his performance against Naji. Now it's going to be a whole different story. Like he has
Kami versus, no, Kimberly versus Luke. Así que ya vuelvo.
To kind of rebuttal that. I want to see more defense, essentially is what I'm saying from Kami.
It is really fun to watch defense. I super agree. Just seeing somebody block and be correct about defense for like long stretches, or to do that yourself, for me is more interesting in some ways than seeing somebody like have a sick mix-up. Like I don't know, the mix-up is planned. It's like prepared. Like you have like the thing that you do.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're the defender, you don't know what's coming next. You are making reads. It's a hard position to be in. So to make that many correct reads in a row, it's just always impressive. So shout out to him for that. But as Psycho comes in here,
Aquí estamos.
very strong Kimberly.
I didn't realize that this version of Luke still has like the braces. Imagine being an MMA fighter with braces. That's terrifying.
Take the throw, overhead. Cuando Kimberly te mete en pared, es adivinar. Adivinanza.
She has the kind of offense that I feel like, you know, even if you're great defensively, it is hard to block her consistently. She's got a lot of stuff on her. That's a great situation.
¿Qué es lo único negativo de Kimberly? Aunque te meta en pared, el daño que hace es poquito. Es bastante bajo. A no ser que esté ya con el buff del level 3. Ahí sí creo que saca un poquito más de daño. Pero la mayor parte del daño de Kimberly en pared es bastante bajo. A comparación de Luke. Luke en pared te saca una tonelada de daño. Perfect. Perfect. Wow, mira ese daño. Mira ese daño. Compara el daño de Kimberly con el daño de Luke.
Again, though, that was Kami just holding on, not pressing a button. Taking a lot of turns here, Psycho. Forcing a lot of plus frames. Yeah, Kami down there.
If Kami gets a single opening into a drive rush combo, it could potentially spell death at least with the level 2 and the sharp angle.
El mix lo mató, lo mató, lo mató. Round para Psycho y sin gastar barra. Sin gastar barra.
Pretty significant to set up your left right mix.
Super good idea by Psycho. Okay.
Take the throw.
Defense, it's just hard to block against her consistently. Kami's in.
Perfect. Fast throw. Level 3.
You kind of have to. You want to get that drive gauge going.
For sure. A lot of damage to start.
You walk up and
Sácate.
sights that are set forward.
They're both like just outside of each other's ranges. Excellent spacing by both players. They can both turn it on right away. Does he keep it up? Yes.
¿Lo mata?
You better kill. You better
No,
kill.
no lo mata.
Uh-oh.
Bien, le dio tiempo para cubrirse a Kami. Si no se comía el Dry Impact. Y eso daba combo y oportunidad de level 3. No le quiere permitir a Psycho tener el bufo de level 3.
Oh, man.
Ah.
There it is.
Still.
No force it, but there it is.
Fine, the uppercut. Had
Sáquese.
Psycho done maybe, I swear to God, if he had thrown down the elbow to bait out, man, that would have been an entirely different story. But Kami still having the audacity to come in with a
Take the throw.
hit. Yeah, full conversion. That's a lot of extra plus.
Perfect. A la pared y mira ese daño.
Side. And I like that Kami was just trying to pursue like a side pitch again, immediately jumping to the sky for Psycho.
Take the throw.
Mix now. No gate from Kami.
Whoa.
Interesting. Even after the spray.
Take the
cancel.
throw.
Teleport
Take the throw.
able to dish out as much damage as he wanted to.
Take the throw.
Great job of it right now. Kami, the way he finds his way out, very interesting.
Se viene el level 3.
Drive rush in.
No way.
Kami's right.
Qué buena. Lo mató. Lo mató, lo mató. Lo mata. Memphis.
Done enough damage to let a level 3 rip. I don't know, man. How much damage?
I guess if you think about it, if that had hit, you link it into crouching jab, super basically, like you get
Was
the
it
kill.
necessary though? Like, do you think you could have killed without it?
Memphis.
Really think so, huh?
1-0 para Kami.
That's hard.
Necesita ganar 2 rounds más y elimina a Psycho y se clasifica a top 8 losers para enfrentarse a Fluxwaves mañana. Así que serían 2 JPs en top 8 losers. En top 8.
Regular.
Oh, cute.
Interesting is that like some of the big hits that Psycho has doesn't lead to any sort of mix-up yet. He hasn't spent that bar really to make it healthy. Oh, that's very sneaky.
Baseball,
That's fine. The damage is there. Ignited.
Pa, 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 pa. Dadan. Cállese a la pared. Oportunidad de mix.
I'm sorry. No, actually, it's not.
Bueno, burnout. It's
No
over.
answer here, but
It's GG.
his excellent defense comes into play.
It's GG.
Hey, and he's the one who
2
gets them.
a 0. Ah, no. Ah, no, 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 no. Match point. Pensé que ya había ganado un round Kami, pero no, me equivoqué. Ahora sí, match point para Kami. Necesita ganar ahora un round más y se clasifica a top 8 losers. Take the throw.
The backdash does take flip, but it's actually not going to lead to a lot of damage. I feel like that's been the highlight of
Y esa doble patada es safe, por las dudas de la Kimberly.
some of these big hits have not really
Take the throw. Eso es un launcher, que también es safe. Bien cubierto el Ray Impact. No, le paró bien el knuckle cargado.
That's okay for him.
Backthrow y se puso ahora ella misma en pared. ¡Qué buena! Round para Psycho. Y tiene que ganar otro round para empatar.
Unusual stuff. Sounds so interesting. It's so unique. He hasn't really been super heavy on pressure. It's been about his defense. However, we got to see if it holds up here.
A little bit of a funky occurrence. He actually dashed up into the jump roundhouse from Psycho on the way in. It's going to be pretty significant. Does have that buff going. Jesus to play raw? No, that was actually off of a cancel. What was that?
Tiene el bufo.
I've never seen him drop like that.
Y ventaja de vida tiene Psycho.
Oh boy.
Take the throw.
Come on.
He's hunting for it yet again.
Bien. Usó bien ahí el Knuckle. Y tiene CA.
Psycho does have enough life, but again, another counter hit opportunity. Not making the most of these drive rushes.
Lo mató.
Yeah, just dropping him
1 a 1.
Crouching, sorry. Elbow drops in the air. Kami not really able to like react appropriately. Crouching heavy punch does kind of stuff that out, but you have to really see it.
I think it's different timing out.
Yeah, you have to be mad early. Gotta study harder. Back to back, 3 in a row. Gotta go for a fourth. That was moving as an option for Kami. Defense again, trying to get out of the situation.
This is exactly what a Kimberly wants. Well, okay, caught it. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Oh, he's trying to end it.
As he should, man. I mean, wouldn't that's both players.
He overthrew it slightly, but wow, again caught it, and so now it's match point Psycho.
Match point para Psycho, a punto de eliminar a Kami del torneo.
The teleport could be a little bit of a problem. For Kami. Psycho, no, doesn't need it. He's going for
Perfect! Perfect! Pass ball! Take the throw. El overhead. Perfect! Perfect! Pass ball. Se gasta el level 3 y lo mata. Nos vamos a final round.
More resources on the left, but man, still.
Entre Kami y Psycho, solo uno se irá, uno entrará y el otro se irá. Que veamos. Otra vez. Y no usa el level 3.
Right, I mean, although he's found tons of hits, very few of them have been for big damage.
Gotcha. Bien, take the throw. OD rising up.
Okay, in.
La slide. Burnout.
Good decision. How do you approach Kami? Kami just feels very confident.
That was tricky. What a block!
Nice.
Lo mata.
Set it up.
No, lo voy a dejar en poca vida. No, no usa el OD. Si hubiera usado el OD, hubiera usado el level 3 ahí.
I can understand.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Really? He delayed the crouch.
Lo mató, lo mató.
Kami getting away with it all. Level 1 more than enough. Psycho
2
letting it
a
slip from
1.
his hands. No
Otra
way.
vez el Kami cerrado.
No way he held on to that.
2 a 1. Así que Kami se va a enfrentar. Se enfrentará entonces a Fluxwaves mañana.
But you let Luke live, brother. Kami with the composure and the execution for the rest of the
Fluxwaves versus Kami mañana en top 8 loser side.
Number of times that you hit the opponent versus like how much damage you deal. It is such a huge swing for both of these players. Psycho found so many hits. He got so many individual hits.
He did.
So many.
But it didn't lead to
very rarely was it into big
or a
damage.
Setup.
Right, I mean sometimes for Kim that is the case, right? There's certainly some conversions where she just doesn't deal big damage, but there were also some moments where he could have had bigger damage but went for a reset. There were some situations where he dropped stuff, and for Kami, it's not like he found like a ton of hits. He wasn't constantly getting the big hits, but when he found a hit, it always mattered. Here's an example.
Yeah, one of the biggest things that we've seen from Psycho, when he decides to use his drive gauge, it's for an opportunity of for a mix, but it's more often than not played out in Kami's favor. Then it goes right back into this type of sequencing where we're just kind of waiting for Kami's big explosive moment. Psycho kind of reluctant to even spend the drive gauge for anything other than a mix. Like, the damage is there. When you get the opening, you might as well spend it. Like, if you're going to put yourself in burnout, so be it. At least it gets you that level 3 opportunity, at least a knockdown to set up for genius at play, and a mix off of that. I'd much rather force an opponent to guess the spray can setup because how it blocks the graphics.
Ahora vamos con los dos matches más importantes. SpaceBoy contra Punk y Ramos contra Idom.
Like Psycho not willing to spend that meter with such an aggressive character.
That was the choice. And unfortunately for him, it doesn't end up working out. So he's the one who sent Punk down to losers, but he will not have moved on into top 8 himself. Flux Waves versus Kami will be tomorrow. And now our last 2 matches of the day.
Punk contra SpaceBoy.
Start out with SpaceBoy versus Punk. As I just mentioned, Punk is down here because Psycho, his former roommate, beat him using his own 3rd place bronze Evo Victrix. And look, you could see in the interview, I hope you all watched during the breaks as well, because we have great interviews that Rob has done with a bunch of these players, Rob, Brian, etc. have done with these players. It was heartwarming, interesting. You know, you feel for him a bit to see Punk tear up, talking about how he could give his family a house if he wins the million. I mean, it is not just about playing and doing your best in video games. Some of the players, when it becomes a realistic possibility, if you really have the chance to win $1 million, right? We all would love to win it, right? Sort of in the sense of like, yeah, I would like to, but you know, is that a possibility for you, practically speaking? For Punk, it certainly is, and so that feels closer for him than it may for many other players. You could really see that in his expression there in that interview with Rob. So there's a lot on the line for him here as he's in losers. But look, SpaceBoy is a very strong competitor. It's not going to be an easy one for him to get through. SpaceBoy is going to, as he has in the past, show that he has a lot to say. He can certainly make the top 8 and deny thereby Punk from getting into top 8. We'll see.
Don't need more Kamis.
Whatever it is that he's been doing.
Yeah, busy guy,
right? Like he's talking about C's gets degrees. Like he's doing the full-time thing of balancing school, balancing work, and also balancing Street Fighter 6.
Aquí vamos, Luke versus Kami.
People are put into in these circumstances. So a lot on the line for both players. Like SpaceBoy with a Luke, very impressive, already aggressive start, getting the throw against Punk. And it's totally understandable. In that sequence, if you cancel a low medium kit and you drive rush forward, in order for it to be a true block string, you have to go in with the light. Punk will definitely go through that with an uppercut if he gets that opportunity. So good on SpaceBoy to make that happen for him.
Okay. Punk with a bit of an offbeat dive kick.
What a stop! Like, how often do we see that from Punk? That standing jab. And not going to do anything enough. He gets to cancel one more time if he needs to. But no, he goes for the target.
Bueno, round para el señor Punk.
Yeah, that said, back to the last match that we saw, Punk versus Max Sama. We were both impressed by Max Sama, and Punk did have some drops, some funky decisions in there.
Take the throw.
He tightens it up. The SpaceBoy,
yeah.
What a great decision.
Perfect. Bien cubierto la die kick, take the throw. Bien, se saltó del throw. Bien, parry. Level 3. Final round del primer set entre Punk y SpaceBoy. Uff, le está dando pelea al SpaceBoy a Punk. Buena. Vaya la take the throw. Perfect parry. Not today. Tráigalo por acá. Bien cubierto el overhead, back throw. El overhead de nuevo. Take the throw. Back throw. Cam spike. Perfect parry. Lo mata.
think that might be enough
I mean,
damage.
it's obviously heavily scaled, but is that enough? Last hit, yes.
¡Lo mató! SpaceBoy, baby. 1-0 para SpaceBoy. Joder con el SpaceBoy.
Punk could survive that, get a little bit of drive gauge left in him, and a fireball wouldn't chip out of that range. Or at least it would have put him into crit out of that range. On top of having that critical art, would have been nuts. What is happening? This guy's flying all over the place already.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Well, we saw the same interaction previously where it was a whiff grab is like the attempt. A little funky timing. SpaceBoy looking confident in neutral. Yes, walks into exactly the right spot.
Medium punch. Not to be pumped in.
Vaya la voz.
Big punish, and we realize the names haven't been switched yet. SpaceBoy and it is to be Punk, by the way.
Oh, got it. No. Well, it
Yes,
all
he did.
works out. It all works out.
The names.
Punk should be able to take the
The
round. We
names.
have seen a little bit of funkiness from him, but this
Round
time,
para
it's okay.
Punk. Quiere empatarlo 1-1. Pero SpaceBoy solo tiene que ganar 2 rounds para llevárselo 2-0 y eliminar a Punk.
Yeah, she just kind of spoons in like a bunch of her moves.
I hate it. I can't keep track of it all. So we finally get that right conversion for it. So immediately afterwards, the drive rush.
Oh, again! Oh man, I love that solution. And SpaceBoy backing off, right back in. He's playing with his spacing so well. Excellent tech actually, because that forward and back movement is funky.
Doble tradeo. Vaya la voz. Back throw. Hostia, no hizo antiaéreo. SpaceBoy, baby. La mata, la mata. No, Pixel. Qué buen shimmy. Match point para SpaceBoy. Una más. Take the throw. Pero por acá. Hostia. Back throw.
As a counter against that tactic.
It felt to me like SpaceBoy was hunting for Punk right there. as
Qué
he
buena.
thought that he could get the kill very close.
Vaya
He
la
thinks
voz.
that Punk is worried. Yeah, I think that's the reason I'm getting right now about SpaceBoy's play. He feels like this is the time to get the kill. Yeah, he's going in.
Bien cubierto el overhead.
A lot on the line for Punk right here.
No way. A little
Bien hecho. Mal hecho. Se gasta el level 3, el Punk. Para dejarlo en burnout.
With this much drive gauge left in the
Lock
tank,
on.
while your opponent's at 0, you definitely can get a drive impact wall splash at this point. Yep, and he's already moving. He's schmoving. Yep, that's the one.
Muerto. GG.
Alright, buddy. Jeez.
He was looking at the endpoint.
1-1.
He like went to the start screen to see what the fatality inputs are.
Perhaps, yeah. Cam is the only character I feel like that can do that.
Yeah, she kind of does that
So,
with the fatality. Man, look, again, there's a lot on the line for Punk, and I understand why SpaceBoy felt like that was the round to get the kill, but now that didn't happen, the question is, what does he change about his gameplay?
interesting tidbit there. Causing jab, counter hit into the perfect flash. Oh, that's huge. Oh! With an even bigger drop from Punk. What is happening?
Not the first time that we've seen a big drop.
Sí, se salió de la pared del SpaceBoy. Ahora se volvió a la pared otra vez. Take the throw.
This counter is there, and also within range is the Fierce. I thought it was going to whip from that range, but no, sir. No level 1 usage. He maybe thought it wasn't going to
DP.
kill.
Ay, se quedó en burnout.
You sneak in the guy to attempt 2, and it's not far enough. There it is.
Lo mata.
No way. He did it again. Fireball and uppercut.
Match point nuevamente para SpaceBoy.
SpaceBoy looking at match point. With a
Por
lot
segunda
of
vez.
both characters sitting at pretty much equal in
Punk saw that there were some more whips coming out. SpaceBoy
DP
shutting
otra
down
vez.
immediately.
Take the throw.
Does not want to allow Punk to get these reads about what
Bien cubierto, pero no usó parry Punk esta vez.
again against Punk. So back
Bien, ahora sí el parry.
this.
3 in a row.
Again there. Again. Fully burned. What a
Buen
jump
salto.
by Punk. Will he spend it
Level
all?
3,
Yes.
se lo tiene que
He
gastar.
absolutely has to. Equalize the playing field, the damage is there, the burnout is there as well. He's
¿Los
gonna get
encontraste?
this fight before SpaceBoy does, but it's just a matter of what he decides to do on top of his dash up, and he's pretty aggressive with it. No way! Heavy to level 3. Now he gets to change the swing. The damage is definitely in SpaceBoy's favor. You're gonna get get a meaty setup, and you might get that drive gauge before Punk. With 0 bars, you could get a checkmate. No way.
SpaceBoy eliminate Punk. Punk still in. Oh, jumps away. All the decisions are so key right now. Anything will do it. He finds it. Can he get the kill? It's a little funky looking, but that's okay. And it is match point now for both.
I swear to you, if he did Eraser, the back heavy punch from Luke, as the before that came out, I would have yelled like, amen. It would have been all grief.
Slowly starts the offense this time. That has been rare throughout the set. He hasn't typically been the person who's done it. As he is back again to hanging out a little bit patiently, maybe hoping to see SpaceBoy overextend, but SpaceBoy is just walking around. He's not giving into that urge yet.
He's given a couple of looks with a sandblast, and surprisingly we haven't seen really any spin knuckle attempts, but it's been very difficult to call. This is a very fast fireball, by the way, so even trying to
Madre mía.
is kind of tough.
Turn immediately. Here's SpaceBoy. He has fought all the way to the corner. Not quite. As Punk
Level 1.
finds the big hit, and now with a substantial life lead.
But that burnout is getting pretty close. Punk is backing away. No uppercut!
I can't believe it. He has been
Take the throw.
Speedy as heck, but not gonna reach any sort of advantage.
Big jump. It's not for a hit. Another chance. And again, Punk, as he has often been, is not the one to immediately engage on offense. He's back to neutral.
Oh, that's huge.
Back throw. Uf, vida amarilla.
A lot of estate behind him. Move away from SpaceBoy. SpaceBoy's got to be explosive, but he's got to be now. But
Buen usado el OD es Cannon Strike. ¡Qué buena!
Off of that?
15 on the clock, and it's
Pero no funcionó. Punk clasificado a top 8 loser side, eliminando a SpaceBoy. 2-1.
SpaceBoy tried to get the jump back to contend with that instead. Jump earliest roundhouse from Punk keeps him in the running.
2-1.
Here at the US Canada CPT.
I think it's safe to assume what was on SpaceBoy's mental stack at the moment. How often did you see these jumps go unpunished? Right? You had mentioned and highlighted a very significant fact about this early part. You see in the replays how often.
Ahora queda el último match para confirmar todo el top 8 loser side. Ramón versus Idom. Modern Chun-Li versus Manoon.
Dive kicks too much to punish it on the ground rather than mid-air. So again, that's some pretty important moments for SpaceBoy, allowing Punk to fly off like that. And at the same time, though, the rebuttal from Punk has been superb.
Pero lo que le hizo Kami antes, uff.
Good game sense to even attempt for that sequence while having that drive gauge was huge, and also good game sense to even anticipate that flash that came from SpaceBoy.
Denied the easy pressure. But man,
see what I'm saying?
It was
Final match.
Right down to the line there for both. It will be Punk. The Punk's in there. All right. One match remains on 16. And for Ramos is in the N16. And for Ramos is in the unfortunate position of having been at the top side of the bracket on winner's side and then having lost. And that means you got to wait the maximum amount
Modern
of time for
Chun-Li
him to play yet again.
versus
And
Manoon.
now he's going to get that chance. We both liked some of what his Modern Chun did versus Nuckledu Guile. Obviously, it wasn't enough, but he did have some strong stuff in there. And, by the way, I looked up his Street Fighter Cross Tekken Capcom Cup appearance where he played Vega Kami.
You know, that's a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, old friend of mine, that actually utilized that team. It's a very, really cheap team. His name is Mike, but that's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a pretty impressive thing to do, to make it all the way to Capcom Cup.
For sure, yeah.
That
I mean,
regard.
regardless
And
of what
also
game
still
it is.
consistently, like, keeping it up with whatever life throws at you, right? That's been, I feel like, the main story for a lot of the East Coast players, right?
Manoon versus Modern Chun-Li.
Seeing Ramos again.
Sería un upset ahora que Idom perdiera ahora. Bueno, pasó lo mismo antes en otro de los CPTs, que el Idom quedó fuera. Quedó fuera en su CPT perdiendo contra Kami y Punk. Pero después logró clasificarse por medio del World Warrior.
That's true. It's going to be one of 2 or 3. That's whatever it is. Yeah. No, that's
But at the same time, it's like it's Idom. Like, how do you prepare for Idom?
How do you prepare for Manon? Not easy. And especially for his style and his quality of Manon, it's just rare to see. So one of them will make the top 8. Man, if it's Idom, that means the first round of top 8 is going to be Punk versus Idom in losers zone.
If there's one attribute that Idom has to really attest to his gameplay, what attribute would that be?
I think his reads, in my opinion, like it's just extremely difficult to know where he's going next, and that's true not just in like the obvious does he do command grab or hit, like that kind of easy stuff, but it's also what he does in neutral. It's so hard to get a read on the buttons he's gonna pick. I feel like that's part of why he makes Mano work when it comes to her footsies, which are DI-able and like not the super best in the game, but he makes them work because you just don't know when any of them is coming.
Ahí va.
I think it's really gonna assess what the
Qué
main
buena.
order usage
Spinning bar kick. Vamos.
Ramos just having the right instincts to do instant air like legs. Thank you, Mario. Oh, that's huge. That's a big opening. And that's something that Idom is not reluctant to use. Something that's really, really unsafe, but it's a great poking tool for Mario.
You have to take risks with her. That is the name of the game. Maybe able to get a medal. Okay.
Speaking of risks.
Yeah.
We'll take that from Ramos.
What? Okay. Idom, of course, capitalizes on that. 3 medals.
I can't pretend to tell you. I don't even know what that could
What was
have
the
been.
idea? Yeah. Big
That is a
jump.
huge jump
And
in.
probably for the round if he wants it. Yep.
Number 1, more than enough. That we talked about that jump arc to be
Final
a
round
big nuisance. She does really
entre
well
Ramos
in that
y
regard
Idom
against
por el primer
fireball
punto.
characters, being able to react and jump appropriately and get the better counters. That jump arc is very, very menacing.
Spinning
Sharp,
bar kick.
roundhouse makes it even faster.
Perfect parry. Spinning bar kick.
Sí.
Y eso fue en punish counter.
Makes it count with level 3 on deck.
Level 3 se gasta.
Coming on that. Oh, let's see what he can get. Idom. Waking up in the corner.
The sweep again.
Willing to take the risk.
Overhead.
Buried it.
Damn. And an appropriate punish counter. This guy Ramos is sick.
1-0 a favor de Ramos.
Huh. That's a guess. That is a pure guess.
Take the throw.
See the command grab there after what would have been a successful command grab if he had read that Harry coming. We'll see. Ramos backs off a little
What
bit.
a whiff punish and what a heavy normal to do it with. Jesus.
This has such unusually strong footsies with the character. Like you feel like she's a wall moving forward against you when it's Idom playing in a way that few other players can make work with.
Spinning bar kick. Back throw.
Ramos in the corner. It's going to be pretty huge with that side switch as well. So much a state for Chun to work with. Being able to charge, get the field, get some fireballs going. And he's going to be very deceptive as to what her range of attacks is going to be. That medium punch has gotten him so much in the past. And also low forward to be a really, really big game changer against Idom.
Y tiene 3 medallitas el Idom. Back throw otra vez.
Ramos backs off. No, tries to
Bien.
go in. Immediately red
No le
by
sirvió. Round para Idom. Tiene que ganar otro round para empatar. Ramos solo tiene que ganar 2 rounds para eliminar a Idom. Medallita, level 4.
Really nice confirm. Ooh, huge jump.
Se gasta el level. Ahí está, la mata. 1-1.
Nobody's singing right now, but that's gonna cut it anyways. Gonna go into the final game between the two.
Bottom meter down below just shows you that Idom did not give any chances for Ramos. And I will say this, I think a couple of fortunate circumstances were a part of Idom's round. Right? Like that preemptive jump against the fireball was pretty significant. I don't think it was on reaction. There's the side reversal, does find the mark, and a very hefty price, I will say.
Dude,
how does he
okay.
know? What a beast.
Looking good. Oh man, that was right on the edge.
Oh, very tricky. At a level 3. Another counter hit stand jab from Ramos. Really picking and choosing his spots to press the button, but instead misses his opportunity for a meaty. Wasn't this the last time we've seen him kind of like fall short? Was against Nuckledu, where he wasn't really able to get some of these meaties going?
Yeah, his media pressure wasn't very strong, and he allowed for Dew to wake up with buttons quite a number of times. Again, the neutral's looking good. He's got a chance for pressure. Tried it out. Oh, here it is. Forcing the situation more.
Nailed it.
trying to be outside of that roundhouse range.
Oh.
Okay. Again, Idom feels like he needs to do it sometimes. I totally understand.
Oh, plenty of time for him to react with a normal behind it. Yes, sir. Ramos
man.
and Idom both fully loaded, by the way. Level 3s on both ends, and also match point for both players now. Big whiff punish. Ramos thought he could get the
Uy,
headshot,
final round ya.
instead he gets a trip
Del
to
tercer
one.
set. Perfect parry, back
Right
throw.
away, Ramos. Again, the meaty pressure is light, and again he challenges correctly
He's so
defensively.
sick.
Se gasta level 3.
There have been so many right choices defensively and in neutral. It's just the meaty pressure that hasn't really lived up to the rest. Slight lead,
Oh, no.
more of a lead now for Ramos, who, if he gets the next couple mix-ups right, is going to eliminate Idom. Idom's challenging.
The driving reversal again. Fireball to back through it. To back it up, excuse me. Fireball does find a mark again. Idom, he's only a sequence away from falling.
Jump! Oh, Idom on the ropes! Is he right? Yes!
Bien, la agarró bien ahí con el level 2.
No command grab.
¡Se mató solo! ¡No! Y se mató solo y Ramos elimina a Idom.
And it's Idom who pays the ultimate price. Ramos eliminates Idom 2-1.
Pa, Idom.
What is
This game
happening?
sucks.
What a scramble at the
What
end.
actually happened?
That whole final round right there. A lot of it led up to that. You know, these great defensive choices that Ramos had, I'm sure inspired him to think that he was always going to make the right defensive decision, hence the EX wake up, right? And I think that makes sense.
I can
but
see
Idom
Idom
had
saying,
the right read and just didn't get the kill.
Madre mía.
I'm still flabbergasted at what that sequence was. Wasn't he in burnout? Wasn't Idom in burnout?
I don't remember, man. We'll see it shortly.
This game sucks.
Woo, what just happened? You know, I gotta really take the time to shout out Ramos's defensive decision making.
Yes.
That is, he was playing like above and beyond 100% threshold. He was making all the right decisions. We talk about the reads that Idom had. Let's talk about Ramos for a second. His decision making behind those medium kick startups from Idom has been phenomenal. What he does afterwards, what he does in between, it's all been the right call. And his drive reversals have been stupendous after that one mishap. It was just literally one mishap.
All right, what happened? He just screwed it up, right? Yeah. Well,
I can't tell you, I can't even imagine
There you
tell you
go.
what that was. He had no meter behind it. There was nothing left behind it. He was burnt out.
That is a tough way to go out for Idom. Again, eliminated from the CPT US Canada East. There is but one chance remaining to make it into Capcom Cup, and that's at the LCQ, where there will be a
Uf, Idom no va a lograr pasar el SQ. Ya se ve claramente. Así que el top 8 ya está confirmado. Por el winner side tenemos a Nuckledu versus BananaKen. No, sí. Nuckledu versus BananaKen. Y Paladin versus Naji. En winners. En loser tenemos a Fluxways versus Kami. Y Punk versus Ramos. O sea que tenemos en winners Guile, JP, Juri, Ryu. Loser tenemos otro JP, Luke, Kami y Chun-Li.
2 hour plus time where you are iced a little bit, and Ramos nevertheless played it well. All right, well, geez. Looking like pretty good stuff here as we'll talk about our top 8.
2 JPs in top 8.
The last of the Capcom Cup qualifiers. Check it out. Next week, US, Canada, Midwest. Registration open for that still, but will be closing shortly. And then after that, as I mentioned, your very last chance to get into the Capcom Cup will be at the LCQ next month, February 16th to 18th.
Oof.
Then the week after that is going to be group stage, and then ultimately the finals of Capcom Cup 10.
It's coming up real soon. Again, that registration is going to be closing for next week's CPT. It's going to be happening this Monday, the 15th, closing at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Please do yourselves a favor. If you're watching and you're from that area, hey, go to Star GG, go to Capcom Pro Tour. Be sure to do it now as we are speaking, because in just a little bit we have the Chipotle Unwrapped segment. But before we do that, talk about a big partner that has been coming up these last couple of CPTs. I'm talking about Masquerade with their big collectibles, and I will say big because this detail on these action figures have been so damn intricate and so interesting to see. Actually, love the different types of outfits, the different colorways. Even Shinakuma hiding over on the left. I see you. Most people will say that's a colorway so and so from 5. No, that's Shinakuma, buddy. But just in case you guys haven't noticed, Stormcloud they brought back a lot of the classics and iconic gaming characters back to life with their very, very high quality collectible action figures. Be sure to check out Street Fighter figures on their website using that QR code on the top right, or by going to stormco.com.hk. And look at the grin on this guy's face. Luke, he's just happy to be here. Ryu, he's seen it all before. Blanca and Fei Long, however, it's their older selves. But the fact of the matter is, these things are so sick to look at. Again, stormco.com.hk. Ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, we have our Chipotle Unwrapped segment where we get to the nitty-gritty of what happened in our top 16 to get you prepared for our top 8. Don't miss it, especially with what just happened. We're going to talk about that in detail after this.
Ok. Con esto hecho, la cobertura del top 16 del CPT US Canada East ha terminado. Hemos confirmado ya el top 8 que se enfrentará mañana, que va a ser, por el lado de winners, Nuckledu versus BananaKen. Y después de eso, Naji versus Paladin, que eso va a ser Guile versus JP y Ryu versus Juri. Por el lado de losers tenemos a Kami versus Fluxways, que eso va a ser Luke versus JP. Y por último, Punk versus Ramos, que va a ser Kami versus Chun, ya que Ramos ha hecho el upset asesino y ha eliminado a Idom del torneo por un big drop que ha cometido el mismo Idom. Así que eso es lo que veremos mañana. Y sobre todo que Ramos es el único player que está usando Modern Controls. Todos los demás con Classic. Solo Ramos ha usado Modern y casi elimina a Nuckledu. Pero eliminó acá a Idom por un error fatal que él mismo cometió tras intentar hacer un grab fallido y Ramos le contraatacó con un backthrow. Pero en fin, con esto hemos terminado la cobertura del top 8 del CPT US, no, top 16 del CPT US Canada East. Así que la siguiente mañana nos veremos transmitiendo ahora la conclusión del penúltimo CPT que nos queda, que es US Canada East, con el top 8 de ellos para ver quién será el representante de esa región para la Capcom Cup. Que los favoritos son Nuckledu,